Welcome to Film Bros with your host, Brother William, a.k.a. Lewub. How do you...
Lewubs.
Lewubs.
L-E-W-U-B-Z.
L-E-B-W-U-B-Z.
Yeah.
Lewubs.
Yee.
Okay. And Brother Xander, a.k.a. Big Z Trip 8. You can look us up for other content on other for the stuff that we made on other platforms. How you doing this week?
Doing good. Excited to get into this.
I am too. We kind of stagulating getting into it tonight, watching Tosh videos and stuff. But
greatness takes its time.
Yeah, I needed to relax a little while anyway because it was a long day. But we're switching it up so I don't have to work all damn day before we record. So that's going to be nice. So I'll have a little more chipper attitude next week.
You have a chipper attitude?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a...
It's an oxymoron, that.
Is it an oxymoron? Yeah, it's an oxymoron. Yeah, I'm not chipper. So, what you got going on this week? Anything?
Nah, just streaming.
Streaming. Yeah, I pretty much put from this week, or last week, and I'm working all on this in my spare time, and then next week, or this coming up week, doing the same. But I am getting a tattoo tomorrow. Pretty stoked.
What is it? You wouldn't tell me.
I was going to wait for the show. Getting a... You've heard of the anime Berserk or the Japanese manga Berserk?
Yeah, dude, we watched it.
Yeah, so we watched it. I'm getting his sword, the Dragon Slayer, on my arm with like the Egg of the King on part of it. It's pretty sweet. So getting that tomorrow. Pretty stoked. It's been a while since I got a tattoo. Filling in a spot on my arm that I'm tired of seeing empty. So it's going to be a good time. So, what do you think about our first episode?
I liked it. So far, everything I've heard of it. I can't wait to hear the feedback from, we already had one of our friends.
Just one friend, yep.
But she liked it, and we don't think she would bullshit us.
Yeah, she wasn't bullshitting. I know her well enough. She didn't like it. She would let us know or let me know and turn it off and just been adverse to it. But she was all into it, so I'm pretty excited for the initial feedback.
Yeah. I think it's funny because it'll be fun, like we're even having this conversation now. It's going to look dumb. We're on episode 50, and it's
yeah,
we're all so nervous,
we're gonna definitely. It's gonna be more. We're gonna be more accustomed to all this, and
yeah,
it won't be such a event, I guess, in certain ways. So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a great episode. It was. I thought it went really well for our first one, and I'm excited to see what we do with the second one.
Picked up a lot to chew on this one.
Yeah, this one was definitely a
quagmire.
I was thinking like a bull wrestle, yeah, something. What do you mean by quagmire?
That's like a quagmire of a situation, a quagmire of a very complicated, tangled.
Quagmires are complicated? I thought they were just big gaps in the ground.
Nah, I think I don't know. I've heard people use it the Middle East is quite the quagmire of a situation.
I know. Mostly is about the giggity aspect of quagmires, but
that's the thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is definitely a trickier one. Had a little concerns of how we're gonna accomplish this, but I think we're gonna get through this.
Fuck Past William, fuck that dude. Just yelling out the Prestige.
Say what?
Past William. You remember? You're like, what are we gonna do next?
Oh yeah, Past William. And you did Prestige, and yeah, because we liked the movie, but we didn't breaking it down. Didn't consider
a whole other level.
Yeah, didn't consider the aspects of breaking it down, and it's gonna be something. It's gonna be a beast. Here we go. But we're gonna tackle this beast. So it's gonna be great. So let's go a quick overview of The Prestige by Christopher Nolan, released in 2006, rated PG-13, and is 2 hours and 10 minutes long. The IMDb description is... The IMDb description, after a tragic accident, two stage magicians in 1890s London engage in a battle to create the ultimate illusion while sacrificing everything they have to outwit each other. And then, by Gary, in IMDb, his description of it goes, set in London in the 1800s, two rival magicians read each other's diary containing the secrets of their magic tricks and personal life. As we go back in time, when the diaries are written, both magicians become obsessed with their rival's best trick. The tricks, as to the audience, look the same, but neither magician can figure out how his opponent does it. So that gives a pretty good, I think, overall description of baseline of what the movie's about. The movie stars Hugh Jackman as Robert Angier, Christian Bale as Alfred Borden, Michael Caine as Cutter. Love Michael Caine. Michael Caine. Piper Perabo as Julia McCullough. We got Rebecca Hall as Sarah, Scarlett Johansson as Olivia Winscombe, Samantha Mahurin as Jess, David Bowie as Tesla.
Wild.
Which
he did a great job.
I know David Bowie's a big actor.
Singer.
Singer. That's what it was.
Space Oddity, dude.
Oh, I'm stupid.
He's in a ton. He's in like
well, he does a great job in this movie.
Under Pressure. Pressure.
That's not David Bowie.
Oh no, he's in it though.
Huh.
It's Queen and him.
Under Pressure. Dude.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later. I'm gonna look up that afterward. And then we have Andy Serkis as Allie. Gollum, what's up?
Fun seeing him as a human.
Yeah, so like seeing him act as a human, and he just, his face is so expressive. I really like it.
Yeah.
So, well, how many times have you seen this movie before today, or before we watched it for this episode?
I think once.
Really, once?
Yeah.
We watched it once.
Yeah, no, it mind fucked me.
I watched this a few times over the years, but I never really paid attention and got it. Like I have the last couple times when we watched it, because we discussed it afterward, and now we're doing a show about it. It's fun. So, I was pretty stoked to watch it again, because it had been a while. But I think it's a good second episode. It's a challenge, but we're gonna.
Did the movie get better for you? Did your opinion on it improve?
I think it has, only just because I've been listening to different podcasts with actors talking about the show they're in, Star Trek, the Delta Flyers. Everybody go check them out. It's great. And they give me a better perspective of how the behind the scenes work. And I'm really enjoying, because I've watched Star Trek 1,000 times over, but now I'm getting explanations behind every scene and what's going on with the actors and things like that, and it just gives me a better understanding of all that goes into it. And so watching it now, just like how the story was written, it starts, we end where we begin, and it all ties in together. The storytelling in this episode is just masterful on every level.
In this movie.
What did I say?
In this episode.
Yep, in the movie. And I think it's, with that understanding, I understand how much more this is, I think, now, this round. So, how about you?
The movie took a little bit of a hit. Not a very big hit. Kind of like a little speed bump for me, like in the ratings category. I don't.
So when you first saw it a couple years ago when we watched it,
I was like, again, it blew my mind. Like, it was like a total, like, just mindfuck awesome. Just like, it's one of those movies that you really have to watch twice, almost, to like really get
I'm guessing we probably saw it looking through something to watch. And I'm like, you haven't seen this before? Let's watch this.
Yeah, and you're like, and you gave me shit because you're like, oh, you're such a Christopher Nolan guy.
Oh, I barely even know about Christopher Nolan, except for you won't shut up about him.
Dude, the Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar.
I get it. I don't know, I just don't understand Tenet that much.
Tenet, watching Tenet on drugs, hypothetically, a fantastic experience. It's the perfect high movie.
Didn't we do that?
What?
Did we do that?
No, we've watched Tenet. Yeah, we've watched Tenet.
On a hypothetically substances?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know if we have on, like, anything super awesome, but, like...
That's how we'll call it from now on, hypothetical substances.
No, that's what we always... Hypothetically, you should never do anything.
You should do whatever that's legal in your area.
Yeah.
Not
responsibly.
Responsibly. So anyway, okay. Anything else before we jump into this very long analysis of the movie Prestige?
I think the reason why it took a hit is either going to be people are going to think it's really dumb or brilliant.
What?
The
movie?
Reason why it took a notch in my book.
Okay.
I got a huge.
Are we going to get there at the end? Okay.
No, it's going to come up.
Sweet. Okay. So, disclaimer, this episode may be a little longer of an episode, but we decided that our episodes will go as long as they have to. as long as they need to go, we're going to let them roll. And so just sit back and get ready and enjoy. So start off, Cutter, Michael Caine, explains the 3 parts of a magic trick: the pledge, the turn, and the prestige to some little girl in some backstage looking area of a stage.
Like a workshop.
Yeah, like the workshop. Okay, so the pledge, the turn, and the prestige to some little girl in the back workshop area. Yeah, well, we don't know it's the daughter yet.
Well, we know that.
Okay, well,
we know
little girl.
We know that. You guys have watched the movie. You better. Well, I guess you don't have to, but.
And these images will be reflected. Like, these images in the beginning will be shown at the end. It's kind of crazy. But then all of a sudden it cuts to Cutter in court testifying against Borden. It's the first time we see him. Who we don't really know at the time other than being a magician. Cuts to Borden in prison, talking to Angier's lawyer, bargaining for Borden's tricks. Wanted the transported man, especially, in exchange to have his affairs and his daughter and all that taken care of, because while he's in prison and going to be executed. We don't know all that yet, but it's just really choppy here in the beginning. It's kind of hard to follow along, so just keep up. It's gonna. We're
cutting back to Cutter's testimony, he doesn't reveal the secret, in my opinion, because he doesn't know the secret. Because that's like a big thing they press him.
Oh, yeah, because like...
He doesn't know it.
So, yeah, when he's in the court scene in the beginning, yeah, he won't... They're pressing him to get the secret to the transported man, and he just can't give it out because it's just the business of it. And, yeah.
Well, no, but he doesn't know it at that point.
Well, at that
because
point...
it's the new transported man with the electric stuff.
Yeah, with the electric stuff. Oh, yeah, so he wouldn't know that.
He doesn't even know the new transported.
Warning already, there's going to be lots of spoilers because the way this story jumps around, we're just going to get bits and pieces of all of it. And if you haven't seen this movie,
go watch it
and then come back and listen to this.
Real quick, you should do that with every one of these movies. You should.
Every one of our shows, if you watch it first, and so like at the end of the show, we'll make sure, hey, this is what we're watching next week. Make sure you go watch it so you can be ready for the conversation.
If you're some sadist that does it the other way around, where you listen to this and then watch the movie, let us know. And let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I want to know how I want to pick your brain a little bit on that one, see how that process goes down.
This is a weird chicken and egg situation we have created for ourselves.
So, Cutter is in talking... Cutter's in court getting questioned about Angier's death, testifying against Borden, basically. And Borden's in there. Then it cuts to Borden in prison, talking to Angier's lawyer, bargaining for Borden's tricks, bargaining for Borden's trips. The lawyer wants Borden's tricks, basically the transported man. In exchange, his daughter will be taken care of and won't have to go to work in some, workhouse or something like that. It was something terrifying that his daughter would have to go do.
Child adoption, really great. Well, it's not great now, but I think compared to the 1890s where we sent him to a workhouse, I think it's a little better. Like, you go work in the coal mines and don't have a parent.
Go, work in a sewing shop for the, until you're an adult.
Put the dynamite down in the holes, little Jimmy,
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that. It's terrible. So...
Don't look up the cobalt mining in the Congo, by the way. That's just still going on.
And then the lawyer gives Borden Angier's diary as a gesture of good faith that he'll take care of his daughter in exchange for the secret to the tricks. I was like, here's the diary. He's just like, hey, sweeten the deal. And then we see Angier's going to Colorado Springs. He notices this whole town has electricity and arranges to see Tesla up on the mountain. He's greeted by... He's like hanging out in the, the bar or lounge of the hotel, and this is where Andy Serkis comes in as Tesla's assistant. Damn, I didn't get his name. I had it earlier. Allie. And meets Gollum and talks to him about trying to get up on the mountain or meet Tesla, and they kind of have like an introductory talk. Then it cuts back. There's lots of cutting around. It's crazy. So bear with us. Cuts back to seeing Angier, Borden, and Cutter all working for a different magician, like early on, for Milton the Magician. And he's an actual magician in the real world. And he was featured in an X-Files episode as the Great Malini. Just a fun fact, in case you didn't know.
I just want to jump back to Colorado. This is our first music swell, and Hans Zimmer did the music in this movie, and it sounds exactly like Man of Steel. Like, the Man of Steel music and this music to this movie are, like, identical. If you've seen both films, I think you'll know what I'm talking about.
I've never seen Man of Steel.
It's a great movie.
Well,
and then
put that on the list.
I didn't know where to throw this in, but it's wild that this movie has two different Alfreds from Batman, a Batman, and Black Widow and Wolverine.
That is something to consider. Aren't those all like Nolan films that they're a part of?
Not all of them, because the new Alfred in the Batman is Andy Serkis. Wolverine's a Marvel movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and Black Widow. Yeah, she's part of the MCU.
Huh. Well.
So that's a lot of superheroes. A lot of superhero adjacent people.
And a lot of super actors playing superheroes.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's just everything's super about this. So they have this, team. They're working for this other magician. Cutter designs the illusions. Julia, played by Piper Perotto, who's Angier's wife, is the main assistant to Milton's act. They perform the water trick. The trick involves Piper being tied up and then submerged in a water tank from which she has to escape. Borden wants to push the bounds, wants to do something new, mentions the bullet trick, says he's got a unique trick, but it's not quite ready yet. It's kind of hinting at the transported man. But then also suggests using a different knot at least for the water tank escape trick. And wants to do the length for double to kind of flash and flaunt his knot tying skills. And to make the trick more impressive. But they all kind of disagree on that because it's too dangerous. They agree not to do the knot and because it's too dangerous. And then it cuts to the very next scene. They're all performing the trick on stage. And during the water tank performance, Borden ties the knot as usual, but changes it last second and does the length for double that they wanted to do before, that he wanted to do. Or at least we're meant to think that, because he kind of fumbles around with it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was doing. Like he's changed up the knot last second. So they continue with after they untie the knot, she gets submerged in the tank. Julia struggles to untie the knot and escape from the tank. The crew, including Angier and Borden, rush to break the tank open, but they are too late. Julia drowns, and Angier is devastated.
I got a fun fact.
What's up?
That, CPR wasn't invented until 1960. Because I sat there wondering, why the fuck aren't you pumping the air?
Yeah, it's only a few seconds. You totally get her back.
Yeah. And then another thing I want to talk about is the knot situation itself. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, I don't get it from I don't get anyone's idea with this knot. Because it's like, okay, sure, you can do a fancier knot on her arm.
But who's going to see it from out in the crowd?
Who's going to see it? Who gives a shit? It just seems very dumb. And then I don't get why she's so down for it. It's like, who are you trying to impress? The wizard? Like, you're not going to get it promoted. You're not trying to become a magician. You're just the magician's assistant. So, like, why is she so
I feel like it's in your best interest. Is it not take as few risks as possible?
Yeah. So I don't get anyone's motivation when it comes to the knot situation at all. I feel like it should have just not happened.
Oh, I see what you did there. Puns are fun. So, Julia drowns. Angier's devastated. Angier blames Borden for Julia's death, believing the knot change caused the accident, which it probably did. This incident sparks a bitter rivalry between the two magicians, setting the stage for their ongoing feud throughout the film. So, then we jump to Borden and his wife, and Fallon, all in a room, like some kind of drabby apartment-looking thing. Fallon leaves, but Borden's wife drops that she's pregnant. He's blown away. Says they should have told Fallon, which is kind of sus.
That's weird, man.
Yeah, like, oh, I should have told Fallon all of a sudden. Like, yeah, why? Like, what? It seems so, like profound news. I gotta share with Fallon. He should know. But we'll find out why later.
And that makes me question, at this point, who is it? Which one is it? Is it Fallon? Because I call the brother Fallon, because we don't really ever find the brother's name out. So.
Again, spoilers, because you should already watch it by now. We know it's Fallon, the other one. So, like, Fallon's the actual husband at this time. And
it's like so yeah, that's what I
thought. I forget what Fallon is. Like,
Fallon is, they're
like, Fallon is Fred.
Yeah.
And then Borden is Al.
James Borden, right? Is it James Borden? Did I just make that up?
I'm pretty sure not. Because it's Alfred Borden.
Alfred. It's Alfred.
But he takes Al and the other one Freddie. So Al and Freddie.
So,
so they're living two halves of the one life.
Also, do you know that Freddie banged Sarah? That happened.
I was wondering, like, they had that, like, shot, like, how was she, bro? Oh, she's great. Like, it's terrible, you know? Yeah. How's that conversation going to go? Or, like, is it all dismal, like, I'm sorry, I had to sleep with her last night. Like, oh, yeah. Damn it, bro. Like, you motherfucker. Don't talk about it, you know?
It was the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah, it was the worst thing I've ever done. I didn't enjoy it, I swear. Like, it's... just be sorry, like, to pretend like you love somebody you don't when you're actually... Just
again,
a huge mindfuck throughout this whole thing. Again, what? You said something.
I had something.
Yeah, I was waiting. Well,
also, okay, so, like, Fallon... What does Fallon do when he's not around? Because in the beginning...
All the same stuff the other guy does.
No, but, like, he's poor in the beginning half, so, like, he doesn't have another apartment for Fallon. Is Fallon just a homeless bum?
He's somewhere? At the shop, working.
I guess he had... Well, did they even have a shop, though, in the beginning? Like, in the very... Like, when they're like, I can barely put food on the table or whatever.
It's like, in the scene, that's how we're talking about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like...
I'm pretty sure, you know, because he worked for that great Malini, so it's probably in the Malini shop. Like, hey, I'm just working late tonight, boss. I put a cot over there just so I can catch a few extra Z's real quick in case I get tired. But I'm working, you know. I'm not living here, swear. Maybe. I don't know. That's something. Could be. I don't know. That's at least in my head canon. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So, they're all in there talking. She drops that she's pregnant as Fallon's leaving. But then she's also talking about how they're kind of like tight on money and everything. And he's like, oh, well, I'll just split food with Fallon and we'll figure it out once I get this trick going. She's like, well, you're going to already have to split it with, you know, with another. And that's why he figures out, you know, she's pregnant. But then it goes to him showing her the bullet trick that he's been working on. Because he wants, you know, been wanting to push the bounds. So he's been working on this. And it shows that the end of the ramrod is like magnetic or some squeezy clamp thing. Not quite sure how he keeps the ball in the ramrod instead of leaving it in the barrel. And proceeds to explain all the different ways that it could go wrong, but reassures her it won't by saying, I love you. Like, that's fucking, yeah, that's reassuring as fuck. And she calls him out for knowing when he actually means it. One day, or like some days he means it, some days he doesn't mean that I love you. And on that day, he did not mean it. So that's how we know it was the other brother and not the actual baby daddy brother. Because she could tell that it wasn't him.
Not enough, though. Not enough to figure out what was actually
going on. I mean, it's probably her beginning moments of being sus. Like, something's strange. I feel like that whole thing would have been strange to any rational person watching it. I don't know.
I do think there's, like... When I first heard, like, when rewatching this movie in the beginning, when I heard that, like, you don't love me today or whatever, I was like... At first, I was like, fuck this bitch. Because... What a... Like that's such a weird precedent. Like you can't love your magic and me on the same day. And I'm like,
I guess that's how she was seeing it. Yeah, like today you don't because you're more focused on your magic and your rivalry with.
Like it kind of is like a weird double entendre for the brother thing. But
yeah, that's actually a good point. That's a good point.
So I was kind of like, fuck her, dude. Like, well, I can't love two things at once.
It's always kind of you see that in a lot of stories where someone is a. You know, some sort of entertainer, a character of some kind, or has a certain professional hobby or something they do where they just commit all their time to it. They meet some lady, they hit it off hard and it's good, but then they're all committed to like boxing or, whatever else it may be. And then the woman gets all, frustrated, like, oh, you love the game more than me, or you love this and that more than me. It's like, no, like, this is what I always was, baby. I love one of my rappers. He's just like, I'm never letting a woman get between me and my music or something like that. It's just kind of like, I can't love you as much as I love my music. It's a hard fact, pill to swallow, but some artists are like that. Like, I just can't love any more than I already love what I do. I just think it's weird, and, he might be reaching for that and can't really seal the deal on it.
And then the bullet trick. Another thing about the bullet trick. Oh, wait. I got one more thing to say about the whole Sarah thing. It's like, he's like, you can't love two things at once. Bitch, you have a child. I'm going to have to love two things at once. So your logic is already falling apart. She's pregnant. So eventually there's going to be two of them.
Well,
so
I mean, if you want to get nitpicky, yeah.
I'm just saying, if you take her argument to its logical conclusion.
Well, it's
stupid.
It's more of an emotional argument than logical, obviously, but...
I'm just saying, I thought it was dumb.
It wasn't saying, I don't think it was meant to be taken, like, fully literally like that, but it's most metaphorically, you can't love... Yeah.
Can you?
I feel like I can love what I do and also love my woman.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, this is what I do, woman.
Can you hate two things?
And you've already known that.
Can you hate two things, Alexander?
I hate many things all the time.
So, in theory, you could love many things.
I can love many things.
Yeah, see, I think it's stupid. It's a fucking dumb argument.
I can love many women.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like I want my one, but,
Also, another Sarah shit talk in the same little conversation.
Damn, you're really drilling her right now in this conversation.
I don't like Sarah.
Get it all out. Let's get it.
The bullet thing. Like, she shows him the bullet and how the gun works and stuff. And then she just, laughs at him. Oh, it's quite obvious once you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I wonder why I don't tell you the biggest secret of my life.
Just shit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the mixtape to get us out of the hood. And you are just shitting on it.
This is my hustle and flow right now, and you just... you just threw it in the toilet, man. You just threw it in the toilet.
Yeah. I'm like, fuck Sarah, dude.
Tell us how you really feel, William.
I did. I don't know. What do you want from me? I don't know.
It's explained. Goes to Borden performing in some small tavern-like thing, doing an old played-out ring trick. The two rings, snapping them together. Crowd is not having it. Then he just whips out the strap and starts waving it around, taunting all the crowd with the bull catch performance. Like, this is what you want? This is what you want?
Great crowd work.
Crowd work. It's terrifying. Yeah, but yeah, it was... I just... just being in that situation, he's doing some ring trick and all of a sudden just whips out a gat. Like, it just kind of crazy situation. Crazy time.
I have a conspiracy theory about those rings. Because he does it throughout the whole movie. Is it just a lull? Like a really shitty non-trick, essentially, to get people hyped for the real trick? Like, it's just like, it's like the Invincible episode 1 where it's like 50 minutes of boredom and then it's like the last 5 minutes are like...
I remember, I saw on some little video I watched about the movie, the rings were supposed to allude to like the two separate brothers, maybe? It was a stretch. The dude's like, this is a stretch. But I forgot what it was. Yeah, it wasn't very...
I don't think anybody cheered this whole... Like, the ring, it keeps popping up. Even like when
he does it a couple times.
Yeah. So, like, again, I think it's just a lull.
It's like,
for the mind.
People are like, really... Like, this is what we paid this money to see.
Yeah, this is what you're dropping.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, all right, you don't like that? Cool. All right, I'm going to show you something. This time it's the bullet trick. And then...
The disappearing?
The transporting man. Or disappearing?
Transporting, you're right.
Yeah, transporting man. So, yeah, I guess it is kind of downplayed to get them all, whatever. Then reel them in real quick. So... Anyway, he's doing this, he whips out the gat at the crowd, and calls for a volunteer, and it's Angiers looking to get revenge for his lost wife by Borden's hand, at Borden's hand, anyway, which he shoots and removes his ring and pinky fingers with the shot from a bullet slipped into the barrel, that he had slipped into the barrel. I feel like he'd have a more keen eye to, like, spot Borden, like, just how people move, body language and stuff.
Dude.
Like, if you were wearing some disguise, I'm like, I know it's you.
Yeah, and he works with them. There's
any of my homies and shit that I work with. Like D, he wore a fucking some beard and whatever. D, what you doing in that, costume? I feel like that would have been, seen. Just saying. And then it goes to Angier meeting with Cutter asking him to be his engineer guy. What is that term? Did you catch that? Like
engineer?
And your name or something like that?
Some bullshit.
Some French jazziness on it. I don't know. So, Angier adopts the stage name, The Great Danton, which was something he didn't like at first, but was recommended by his now late wife. And so he adopts it. That's me now, which is kind of a nice tribute to his wife. I thought it was sweet. It's touching.
If he's not gonna love her, at least he took the name she wanted. Like, I don't care.
He did love his wife that got drowned. We're talking about Angier's wife that got.
He's like, I don't even care about her.
He just said it out because he lost eyes stuff. We'll get there when we get there.
Just saying, not a good look.
Isn't that? I mean, when he said it's pretty.
Oh, you think I shot on
nasty.
Sarah? Oh, I'm not Hugh Jackman. Great Danton, you better watch out, bud. You're gonna be great after I'm done with you. You're gonna get railroaded today, brother.
I'm kind of intrigued to see what you have to say on that. It's been great. Angier adopts stage name. Yeah, so Angier adopts his stage name, The Great Danton. And what would your magician name be?
I had time to think about this.
I kind of accidentally spilled that bean earlier, but I didn't think about it at all for myself either. So I'm gonna try to
maybe like the wackiest William. The weirdest William.
I feel like the wackiest William seems like a clown name instead of a.
Well, I'd be like a funny magician,
A funny magician?
There's the dudes, Penn and Keller or whatever from.
Oh, yeah, they're hilarious magicians. Yeah. Okay, I get it.
I would be a funny magician.
I don't know. Like,
my thing would be like, how he does like the last thing in someone's pocket? I would be like the last time someone had sex. Last time you ejaculated, I can just sense it on you. I'd be like 20 minutes ago in the bathroom. You think your wife would know? I know.
That's your trick?
Yeah.
That's more like a mentalism thing.
Well, you can tell what people in people's pockets somehow.
I see the shame on your face.
Yeah. Like I was a doctor.
You seem a little sweaty. Yeah, I don't have a name.
You came up with this question. I had shit loaded for the Matrix.
Well, I'll just take the 888. I don't know, something stupid. Some big C 888, but I can't do that.
Again, I put you on the spot. ZOE Xander. I don't think it was like a Z.
Zesty Xander. No,
Zealot.
I mean, like
Zealot, like a religious zealot.
Xander Snow or something like that.
What's zealot? What does zealot mean?
Zealot is like a religious zealot. I'm pretty sure that means we're just gonna skip that.
Yeah, no.
We're gonna delete that.
Like zealot Xanders. No, I don't think.
Religious zealots are like. I'm pretty sure they're a very aggressive stance in their religion.
It is.
They're zealot. They're very hardcore with their religion or something.
Dude, it's the 1890s. These British bumfucks from they're working in the factories 12 hours a day, 7 days a week without any workers' rights. They aren't going to know what zealot means. You could lie to them. They aren't going to know any better.
We're not putting any of this in there.
I think we should.
Yeah.
The outtakes.
That's good. We can put that at the end or something like that. Yeah, that's like something at the end. We'll just put this crazy shit in there. Yeah. Oh, wait. Stage name. Official one. Xander Riddick.
You did that. Come on, man. Zimbabwe Xander?
No! Why would I have nothing to do with Zimbabwe at all.
That's what would be funny about it.
Has a nice ring to it. But
yeah. You're trying to sell tickets, man. You just catch the people.
What do you think? You all write in and tell me where a good name would be. You don't even know me that well yet, but just make something up. You will. I'm not putting it in. So, yeah, he teams up with Cutter, takes the name The Great Danton. They plot new acts together. A new twist on the dove and a box trick that we saw earlier.
Where the dove doesn't die this time.
Yeah, where the dove doesn't die this time, because we didn't really talk about it, but earlier they show a scene where Borden is an assistant to a magician, and the magician does the bird in the box trick, but the kid in the front, that's Borden's future wife's nephew, damn, sees that it was actually killed, and so that's kind of foreshadowing to like this new trick to where it's the bird doesn't die and the box kind of disappears and everything. And it's like people's hands are on it, so the box can't just where'd the box go? And it's a very fancy contraption.
It is wild when you really think about it now that I, reanalyze it, that's basically what the Danton's going to do at the end. He's doing that bird trap trick. Like, it's wild that he's willing to subject himself. He's like, one bird dies.
That's true. That is true.
So that's kind of like, he's more nice to the birds than he is to himself. He's willing to figure out a way how to get...
And I have questions about that whole concept.
Oh, I'm going to chew
that one up, that whole concept. You chewing up the wives, I'll chew up this concept. Because it's just, it eats at me. We meet Angier's new assistant, Olivia Westcombe, as Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Jo. And they practice the act, and the machine is like a mechanical marvel. It is to keep the bird alive. It does seem scary, some crazy steampunk looking almost gadget, and it just seems like it has a lot of torque for easily something could go wrong. They end up getting a week booking with Mr. Merritt. I forgot what the venue was, but it seemed big and fancy. We'll see him later.
I'm pretty sure he's the voice from Civilization, the guy who owns that theater. He has some type of voice in Civilization 5, I think.
I'm going to have to listen to the voice again because I'm very curious about that. Because I love Civ 5.
But I think it's like one of the smaller guys. I think it's one of the smaller guys. He does the quotes.
Oh, like the reading of When the Ages Come?
Yeah.
I love those.
And one quote related to this movie that I really thought about a lot, and I think about it a lot in general. One man's engineering is another man's magic.
Right.
And that really is actually kind of a great thematic thing for this movie, too.
They always say magic is just science that we haven't figured out yet. Yeah. So they get a booking with Mr. Merritt. Danton or Angiers. He has two names. We're going to stick with Danton right now, the great Danton, because that's what he chose. Asks for assistance with a new trick on opening night. Borden gets conveniently picked from the crowd.
How do you fuck this up again?
Like, both of them can't see each other and they know each other that well, and they're also looking for him?
And they're magicians. Like, they should be.
And they have other spotters that work for them. Like, what the fuck, dude? I just don't. Conveniently picked out of all those people raising their hand, he picks Borden. Do
you think like Borden had to buy tickets like for a week because he kept not getting picked? That's just the one.
That's the one time that he actually did get picked. That's a good question.
Yeah,
could have been.
And it was Black Widow. Sorry, the chick who picked Scarlett Johansson. It was Scarlett Johansson who picked. So she doesn't know him.
At this point,
yeah. That's it.
Oh, does she? No, she doesn't. She doesn't. Nope, not yet.
But also, how does the great Danton, he puts his fingers on there, on the trap, so he knows like a second before this shit goes down. He
sees that nubs.
Yeah.
Because, like, Scarlett Jo pointed out about the nubs on his hand.
But she doesn't know that later.
Oh, wait, no, because we're not even there yet. Yeah. It's so hard because this movie jumps around. Alright, so they practice that scare machine. Danton and Angier. So he conveniently gets picked out of the crowd with some older lady. They all place their hands on the box, and then Borden sabotages the trick, and the woman gets hurt, gets her fingers crunched, and the bird dies, leading to Angier and his team being let go from that venue.
Now, we gave Angier some shit, but what would you have done? You're Angier.
We keep mixing up the names, but whatever. Borden, Angiers.
People know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But,
Danton Angiers. God damn it. Wow.
Well, you're Danton. You have 1 second. Do you yell at him? You push him back? Do you make a big scene? Or do you just let it happen?
The show must go on. Hope for the best, I guess.
Yeah. Do you just do what he does? We talked a lot of shit about him handling it. His whole apparatus for blocking him.
I don't know how I'd play that off.
Yeah.
Especially if I knew something devious. He was coming out for revenge because I just shot him. Now he's here, so it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So I probably just cut my losses, dip with the cage.
Yeah.
And then just tell the backstage, put the screen down. Put the screen down real quick.
Have a bodyguard, dude. Just be walking back and have some
this guy shot me last week.
Yeah.
I shot this guy last week and he's coming back for revenge. Yeah, that'd be a sticky situation. I'm glad. I hope I'm never in one myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it goes to the great Danton back in Denver, talking with Tesla's assistant in the lounge at the inn that he's been staying at, the hotel, whatever. And Danton wants Tesla to build a machine like he had made for Borden. Tesla's assistant demonstrates, Tesla's assistant's like, come with me. And he goes to demonstrate some of the things that Tesla and them are experimenting with, like the lights for the town. They say they only do it at night so it doesn't freak out the townsfolk. But it shows a big grid of big old light bulbs that are stuck in the ground but are all illuminated without any wires or anything like that, which is pretty nifty. Then it goes to Danton attending a public demonstration of Tesla and his works at some public display that's trying to show how Tesla's superior alternating current is better than Edison's direct current, because there's a big smear campaign on Tesla's work by Edison and his people. They're doing a demonstration. People freak out and leave. Or people freak out from the whole demonstration. But in the crowd, Danton spots Borden. People kind of get scared by all the crazy lightning bolts flying. And so everybody leaves. And as they're going out, Danton follows Borden, keeps following down the street until Borden runs into his wife and child, leading to Danton to be like jealous of what, seeing what he could have had. Borden, like what Borden has right there, his wife and kids and happiness and smiles. He's like, that's what I could have had. And Borden had taken that away from him by tying that knot and killing his wife. So he's just, the rage goes deeper. You can see his soul darkening. That's
some real incel shit. You know what I mean? Of like, oh, my wife's not working out. And look at this guy. He has the perfect life.
For this, it'd be more incel if there was nothing directly related. But dude killed his wife. I could totally see, like, you taking this from me? Like, yeah, you can't move on. But he just feels like he got away with murder, murdering his wife.
Yeah.
Calling it an accident, but it's actually something he did intentionally that they all said don't do. And so I could see where he could have some rage in there. I'd probably follow a similar path. I probably wouldn't have jazzed it up so much. I just went up and shot the motherfucker or something. I don't know. But taking years to do that shit? No. But I guess that's professional respect. And
every time that scene, too, where he does get shot, feels like an acid trip. Like, it feels like this isn't happening. Like, did you shoot my wife? Like, it just escalates so quickly from going like, ugh.
Oh, you said that when he got the fingers?
Yeah, where he got his finger shot
off.
Because it goes from, like, just kind of like...
He's like, which knot did you tie? And then he's like, bam!
Yeah.
He's like, I don't remember. He's like, bam! Yeah, that's crazy.
It's intense. It's like, I love the change, you know what I mean?
It's very intense.
Also, what a bunch of assholes when he did get shot and they all laughed at him.
Right?
A bunch of dicks, man.
Well, it's back in those days. People were getting shot in bars all the time.
I saw a kid die yesterday.
Yeah. He was doing another kid that was just a little taller than him. I don't know, something. That's out in the West. This was more... Well, Colorado was the West.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1890s, man. Wild times. 1880s.
Hey, Red Dead Redemption takes place.
So, yeah, Hell on Wheels. Come on. I'm a Western fan. Don't even get me started.
Also, the electric show. I think, like, it kind of shows how they both look at magic, in my opinion. And I think, like, a good way to look at it's like AI.
Oh, but yeah.
Where, Danton, he looks at it, he's like an executive to me, where he wants to replace the artist with, like, an AI. Like, oh, we don't need Steven Spielberg. We just have an AI make the movie. Look how he takes it with it, where it replaces the magic completely.
He just wants to figure it out and then try to, flare it up better and be a better showman. That's all he is. He's a showman, not a magician. I'm pretty sure it's mentioned throughout, somewhere in there. And that's why when we come to the trick, Borden does it, nobody did anything. The crowd was silent because he didn't have it, jazzed up enough. And that's when he stole it, he jazzed it up.
But the machine for Tesla was just like a lighting thing. He looked at it, like it's kind of how I looked at AI, using this AI example, where he's using it to improve what he already does, like take the music out of a background.
Okay,
like
yep, totally get it.
He's using it more as a tool, because like the thing he does with it is he just makes electric sparks.
And then he also conceived the idea, and let's save that conversation for just a few more minutes, because when we get to the actual trick that we're talking
we can
about.
talk about. There's different incarnations. We're talking about like V0, V1.
Because this is where it's like he's meeting Tesla, and this is where it's going to come to the trick for the first time. So let's just continue on this one. Where are we at? So you see, he's all jealous after he sees Borden with his family. He goes to Borden in prison, talking to Fallon, giving him the info that Danton's lawyer was asking for originally. The prestige of all the breakdown. It's the first two part was the act. What are the three parts? So he only gives the pledge and the turn, and then once he knows the deal's secure, he'll give the prestige. Once he knows his daughter's all good to go and all that stuff, with being Lord Caldwell's ward and stuff. Scene it goes to one of my favorites where Borden is just in the prison yard at one of the desks, just fucking around with his little rubber ball. And the guard's kind of heckling him, and he's like being all cocky about his magic tricks and kind of talking shit. And then they have a little back and forth banter, and then he accidentally he's tossing it up, kind of being all cocky, and then he drops it, and the guard all laughs and stuff, and he kind of stumbles to go pick it up, acting like he made a mistake and he feels embarrassed, but then he's actually locking up his ankle, and the guard walks off. I thought that was a great scene. It was fun. It goes back to Dan meeting Tesla for the first time. He walks in, and Tesla's walking out of this lightning machine, all kinds of epic looking, and then then Tesla just has Allie hand Danton a light bulb, and it begins to glow. He's just like, "How does this happen?" And he's like, "Well, we all have electricity in us and everything." And it kind of reminded me of the Matrix. Where it's just I produces electricity and stuff, and I'm like, "Fun." We just covered that. They go out to the courtyard and make a deal, which is funny because when he comes up the mountain, it's all wintry and icy, and they go back on that courtyard to make this deal, and it's all green and stuff. They don't have any heavy coats on, I don't believe, or anything. And there's no, can't see their breath in the air. It's kind of continuity error right there on accident. There's a quote at the end that I'll have saved at the end during the scene that Tesla gives to Danton about his ambition and how it's now obsession. And it's like, is it worth the cost? And he's like, build me the machine. I don't care what it costs. And he's like, are you sure about the cost? It's quite costly. He's like, it doesn't matter. I want this done. And then he goes back to Borden, and he's developed a new trick called the Transported Man, which astonishes audiences because it just seems impossible. The trick involves Borden entering one cabinet and instantly appearing in another across the stage. So fast and so smooth that people just, how does it happen? The audience was so astonished, they didn't even say anything because it was just too quick. It wasn't showing up enough, but just kind of shows his brilliance that it just stunned everyone to where just everyone caught off guard. And then even Angier was just, A2 was stunned and noticed how the crowd just was stunned. He's like, oh, how do I replicate? How does he do it? While also thinking, how can he replicate it and do it better? And then Angier becomes obsessed with discovering the secret behind Borden's trick because it's just too good, too smooth. So he attends multiple performances trying to figure out how Borden accomplishes the Transported Man. Cutter, he's talking with Cutter and his assistant, what's her face? Scarlett Johansson. Olivia in the movie. And Cutter's telling him, it's a double. It's simple. And Andrew,
how much irony is in this room that this man will spend the rest of his life, and they figured it out in a minute.
Cutter told him right away in the beginning, it's a double. And he's like, no, it can't be a double. It's just too good. It's got to be more than that. It's like, it's a double. He's like, well, it's got to be something more than that. But the way, if you want to replicate it and do it better, then the only way I know how to do it is to get you a double, man, And
it's just his perception's zero. I feel like that's
because he's so blinded by his obsession over what he perceives. He is a fangirl. He thinks he's so brilliant that he couldn't have done something that simple.
Yeah. It's some weird cognitive bias going on there.
Yeah, because
later on, Loser's Fallacy, where he's just invested so much time into the alternative plan.
It's almost like a reverse hubris. So, his hubris kind of conflicts with what he thinks Borden can do. It's just fucking, I don't know. That didn't really make sense.
Well, when I say you want to do something in this world, you can't if you want to be a podcaster like us, You can't put other podcasters like we like Time Suck with Dan Cummins. You can't put that guy on a pedestal. You got to be like, fuck that dude. We can do what he can do.
No, love that dude, but I can. He's nothing. He's not some guy that I can't, rub shoulders with. I have ability and personality too, and a desire to talk about movies with my little brother because it's awesome, and like I can do it too.
Just don't put. If you want to do something in this world, don't put other people in it on a pedestal.
I love that, and I totally agree.
And again, that's what screws Danton.
The first time I ever heard that is when you said it. So look at this, getting knowledge from the little brother, Knuckles. That's something Danton. I wish if you were around, you could have told Danton that. Maybe it would have saved him years of misery and sorrow.
Well, no, Cutter told him that.
Yeah,
Cutter told him right there. Again, perception 0.
And so they need to find a double. So they go out and find this drunk, out of work actor named Gerald Root or Jerry. Funny because William told me he didn't know that it was the same dude. It was Hugh Jackman
as both roles.
I'm like, I don't know how you didn't see that.
Huge blonde moment.
Well, I'm glad you came forward and admitted.
I reminded him.
Your faults. I mean, that's big. And you had to remind me about that. I totally forgot I did that, but I'm pretty sure I chuckled hard. Also,
Jerry Root, asshole. Like, his first immediate interaction with his future employer is to put him in a headlock.
Yeah, and he's like, you want to hear a joke? And he just puts him in a headlock. Like, there's nothing funny about it. It's just...
That's some, like, older brother shit to do. You're, like, really younger little brother.
I can only imagine back then, like, he didn't have deodorant, so he probably stunk real bad.
Yeah,
he's sweaty up in there.
Out of work
just
actor.
Sweating alcohol all day.
And then, shit, what was that? Oh, the search for this guy, way harder back then. Like, I gotta find a dude who looks exactly like this dude without the internet. Like, I guess they had photos, so maybe they got...
they just had to go around to everywhere they could see, just, like, looking around at faces back then.
Yeah, but compare that to, like, the internet now, where it'll take you, like, a day if you're, like, a celebrity like Danton was, Like, that search would be way
I'm sure
more of a pain.
there's probably an app for that.
Yeah.
Find my face. And then she's like, all right, bam.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
if there's not, we should definitely get on
it. They had to do, like, a whole search,
Yeah, that would have been... It doesn't really tell you how much time has passed, but some time had probably passed.
Yeah, there's no way they just found it.
And especially in, like, the same city. I mean, London had a lot of people back then, but, I mean, you find your doppelganger in the same city? It's
only, like, 8 dudes back then.
It's pretty significant, but apparently, every time I go to the gas station, like, hey, were you in here last night? I'm like, no, dude, no. Well, are you sure? Because it looked just like you. I'm like, no. I go to a few gas stations and I get confused with other people. I'm like, the gas stations I go to, they know me. Other ones, they don't know me. So when they're asking that, I've rarely ever come here, dude. I don't know what you mean.
It's like some backroom shit where it's like a multiverse thing, that gas station. Like, you both share the same gas station.
It's like, man, you were in here getting 2 Red Bulls, sugar-free, and the same cigarettes. I'm like, no, man, why would I get the same?
Actually, you know what? You got Marlboro Reds that time. Like, I don't smoke Marlboro Reds.
Yeah, see, like, now I know you full of it.
But
I just have one of those faces, Earth, apparently, just,
Xander on Earth 450 gets it, though. I
do have a buddy that stays around this area, and we kind of look similar, But, so I'm guessing maybe that's him. So, he's an out-of-work actor, but he had specialized in he had done roles as Caesar and Faust is the one he lists, which is kind of funny because both Caesar and Faust are historical characters that basically were done in by their ambition, alluding to or foreshadowing. I feel like I say foreshadowing a lot, and I don't know if I'm using that properly, but foreshadowing his demise later, because that's the same thing that Tesla was talking about, like, can you outstretch your ambition? So it's kind of funny how they mention those characters. They work out the trick for their version of the transported man with more showmanship and pizzazz, and again, that's what Danton was always all about. He wanted to be that dude on the stage getting seen, not the guy in the box that falls down.
And when we really think about it here, like, aesthetically, he has everything, and like trick wise, he's doing 95% of Borden's trick. 95% of it. But the only difference is he's under the stage. And if you really think about it that way, he does all this other bullshit and like pretty much kills himself every time, just so he could be on the stage.
Well, the first ones, it wasn't killing himself every time. It was just dropping to the floor for these first ones. Yeah, remember how?
Well, no, yeah, the basic one, yeah. So, before the Tesla stuff, but
because like he has been meeting with Tesla, but this is happening before Tesla gives him the machine, so he's just got to copy it. So but it's still not as good as Borden's, he thinks, because it's just, even though it's more pizzazz and jazz up, Borden's is still better and smoother and just unique too.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't think it's a double.
Yeah, he thinks it's something more extreme. Again, what is that? Occam's razor?
Occam's razor.
Yeah, Occam's razor.
Like it's just the simplest
answer is
right.
Typically right. Yeah.
But if you think about it, though, he does the same thing as Borden, but the only difference is he's just not. He doesn't get to take the turns. So he does all of this.
Oh yeah. So
just because of that 5% difference in a trick,
and so
just because he's down on the stage.
So fill that in. So they do the trick with more showmanship, or they do the transported man with more showmanship, and the show is great. But the double is the one seen in the Prestige, and Danton wants to be the one on the stage getting the applause. So because he always gets dropped down to the stage, and that's what we're talking about. And he's just really salty that he doesn't get to be the one up on stage. And even that one scene, he's shown underneath the stage, hearing the crowd, roar, but it's Jerry up top, and getting all the applause and the attention and love and admiration, but it's, and he's down there and he bows to, the crowd through the wall, which I'm like, it's kind of sad, bro.
That's success on the internet.
Like, yeah, I'll just be thrilled that this whole thing that I put together is doing well, and it's my face up there. They think it's me, so whatever,
But we find out at the very end of the movie, when it's related, that he does that whole speech like, "Oh, you didn't even know what it was about. It was about seeing the."
Yeah, which
so that's like,
he's right. I like that too.
I don't.
And that's why he wanted to be on stage. But so, did you want to get on stage to be seen, or did you want to be on stage so you could see their response?
I think you want to see their response, but
I think in his hardest parts, that's like maybe where the passion lied, was to see the audience response, and to make them question. Like everything is all real, but if you can just make them question for a second, then you got him, and you can see that wonder and awe. And I do love that.
I don't think he's a real magician.
I think he's a real showman.
It's like
he's a performer.
I go to a rock show for the rock. I don't go for
the pyrotechnics.
That's what he is. He's all flash. He's all panache. He's all style over substance. Like, he totally sells out magic in the end. He's like, to me, magic, from the definition from this movie.
Yeah, and it's also about, I feel like magicians should have their own unique trick instead of he's always trying to go find someone else's and do it better,
Or, at the very end, he just doesn't even do magic. Like, at one point, they
just go to science, like a new extreme science.
Like, Cutter's like, what you're asking for is wizardry. You're a magician.
I know, I love that.
And he becomes a wizard by the end of it by taking Tesla, because Tesla's a wizard
a wizard
who gives him this wizard artifact to
he gives him a proverbial wand or something, or magic box.
But that's not what magic is in the definition of this movie. It's taking the ordinary and making it something extraordinary. He's cheating.
Or being a magician. It's not being a magician. He's being
nothing.
He's nothing. A scam artist.
Yeah,
basically.
He's a con man, essentially. Yeah, he sold out his art.
He is so shady. That's why he has to suffer throughout the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
and he has sucks. sad story.
I don't feel bad for him. I think he fucked up a lot here.
I think he needed to pull his head out of his ass, and
never did. Pull his head out of his ass.
Never did. That's why the end scene is so great. So let's proceed so we can get to there, because it's very juicy, delicious. So he's salty about not being the one getting the applause. Tells Olivia to go back to. So he's frustrated that Borden. He's backstage talking to Olivia, and he's frustrated that Borden still has a better trick than him. Like, he has a better show, but his trick is better. So he wants to send Olivia to go spy on him, but instead of going and trying to put on a show, just go tell him the truth. And use that, against him.
Whoa, let's calm down here. All right, I got a lot to say about both.
Oh, hey, that's setting up that next scene. So, Olivia talking to Borden. Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
The Olivia Borden conversation?
They're on, yeah. So they're on the 1890s equivalent of a beanbag. And she's, like, trying to, like, riz him up or talk to him or whatever.
Oh, wait. So we're going a little back before when they're testing out the trick.
But, no, like, when he's talking about how good his trick is. Because he admits that he's been going to the shows again.
Yeah, but he's like, I bet Borden's not on a...
Yeah. So he's sitting on the 1890s equivalent of a beanbag. And he's fucking talking to the finest honey in all the land. And all he wants
very
to do...
Very pretty lady. Very pretty.
All he wants to do is talk about his rival's show being better. Like, dude.
And she was kind of giving him some googly eyes and stuff. And that's before they were even in a thing. Because this is when they were testing out. I kind of brushed over that earlier. So before they're doing the first acts, on stage against Borden, they're testing it out. And he's like, yeah, jump down here. This is how it works. While he's showing her around. He's showing her around the trick as the assistant, and this is what happens. Yeah, they had a little moment on the thing. They ended up smooching, didn't they?
I think there might have maybe been a smooch, but...
Or maybe alluding to smooches. Because we know that they're together by the point that he sends her off to Borden. They were together doing a thing, and that upsets Olivia because she's like, wait, you were just sending me away to him. I was like, hey, it's just a gig. She's like, well, I don't, feel comfortable. I don't want to do that. She's like, just do it. It's a gig. It's not like it's any big deal, blah, blah. It just really turns Olivia off. And then it goes back to Danton in Colorado, getting a demonstration of Tesla's machine that he's been, had asked Tesla to build for him. They grab his hat, like, here, let me see your hat, and they put it down in the machine. They fire it off, a bunch of lightning. Basically, it looks like the bolts are scanning the whole hat, and then nothing happens. The machine cuts off, nothing happens. Tesla's sitting there looking perturbed. Allie's like, hey, these things happen from time to time. Just come back in like a week or two. We'll have it all sorted out. No big deal, blah, blah, blah. And Angiers is all like, hey, what, what's that mean? Like, I put a lot of money into this. He's like, don't worry, your money's fine. Like, we're getting the job done. Then it cuts back to Olivia at Borden's.
I gotta cut back here. We gotta talk about sending your hot...
Why would you say that when we were talking about the Olivia...
Well, you cut all the way back.
I give plenty of pauses for you to jump in, especially when we're talking about the Olivia goes to Borden and Spy, basically dumps her when she was all in love.
Yeah, but you kind of went on it. You went from a thing to a thing.
Well... That was a significant thing. Go ahead. What you guys say?
Okay. I just want to say, sending... Alright, here we go. Okay. Sending your new fine-ass woman to your competition, who is Christian Bale, very good-looking guy, is a mistake akin to when Napoleon invaded Russia without the proper winter clothes, and all of those French fucks froze. So, just what a just a stupid fucking idea.
We could probably just rush right over that. No, I'm kidding.
It's just a dumb idea, like a beyond stupid. Like, it just backfires on him so hard. Like, the Notebook.
Yeah.
He starts fucking the other brother.
It's bad.
Everything.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Because then, it cuts to Olivia.
And, real quick.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
At the very end of it, it's like, the crap cherry on this shit Sunday is good girl. Whoa,
yeah,
that's weird.
That's
dude.
just like condescending misogyny to the nth degree.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, you said the cherry on top of that shit Sunday. I couldn't have said it better myself, bravo. Yeah, and are you serious? Oh.
And you can tell it's the 1890s.
Yeah.
Because that would not happen in the present because a woman would
if it did happen in the present,
frying pan.
She should. I could never even imagine speaking to a woman like that. It's just, Cuts to Olivia at Borden's trying to work for him, like she was supposed to, for Danton, finger quotes. Tells him she was sent to get a secret, and then further explains, like, and he's like, oh, is that the truth and stuff? She's like, yeah, tell me to get a secret, but I'm not having it, this is bullshit, and I want to work for you, because your trick's better. And he's so obsessed with how your trick's better that it's just eating him upside, and he's just fucked in the head, basically. You just can't focus on anything else but you and how you do it. So instead of helping him try to steal your work, I just want to help you and your work and jazz it up. Like, legit. Like, fuck this guy. Like, he literally sent me to go take this, or try to get your secret. I'm telling you everything now, but I want to work for you because you're clearly a better magician and I'll help you get the showmanship down. And he's just like, And then he asks if that's the truth, and she gives him some major googly eyes. So, it cuts to Borden finding... Oh, you got something to say on that?
Yeah. Like, it's so funny because in this scene, he's like, what can you offer me? And he just explains his disappearing man like that. Like, just like, he's like, I went to it once. I saw that shit. I know exactly how it's done.
Yeah, I can see it from the back row.
Yeah, like, how can you... And again, that's like, he is the natural magician. Like, he is by far the better magician.
And when they were put up again, when Cutter put him to the test way early on, whoever guessed how that Chinaman put the fishbowl up on the table would be the one who got, a 10-minute, or what, got to meet somebody, his old co-worker, some showman or magician or something like that from way back. So, some cool prize to them. They got to meet somebody cool or go something like that. And Borden had called it out while they're both sitting outside in the alley watching him get into his thing. He's like, that's the act right there. That's the act.
Yeah.
Even when he's off stage, he's in character all the way until he's like not seen by the public, and then he's out of character. So they just he convinces everybody he's some old feeble man when he's actually strong as an ox, and and Borden calling that out kind of foreshadows that he's the one who's committing seeing that Asian performer or magician was always in character, committing his whole life to it. That's magician. That's actual. Being a magician is like committing your whole life to an act. And he's calling it out because that's what he's doing. Committing his whole life to an act. And a character and like all that kind of thing. Which actually kind of, if you think about it, Anton's doing too. Because he's some rich boy that's under a fake name in order not to...
Yeah, but that's for society. That isn't...
But still, he has to be... He's basically kind of like the Superman. He puts on a disguise to be himself. Or not Superman. But he puts on the disguise... in order to be himself instead of be himself in the disguise.
You mean he doesn't have the confidence to go out?
No, he has the confidence. He just can't because he can't change his family and the name. He puts on, the fake persona in order to go out and be that person that he really is.
Anyhow, with that, the old guy though, there's a great line with Danton later on. It's like, I can't imagine my whole life like pretending to be someone I'm not.
And that's what he's doing, though. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is...
Because he's pretending to be somebody.
That's why you failed as a magician.
Because you're pretending to be a magician.
That's why you'll never figure out the trick, because that's what Danton is doing.
Yeah, he's pretending to be a magician.
No, that's what Borden is doing.
Yeah, Borden.
Because you can't imagine it. You can't imagine doing it. And that's why you will never figure out his trick. And that is why you'll never be a true magician like he is.
Yeah.
He does it.
Yep. He is the actual magician.
You can't imagine.
And he commits everything to it.
Yeah.
And he has to sacrifice a lot, too. And it's a big thing throughout the whole movie is sacrifice, and it's very deep and powerful stuff.
And that, real quick to cut back to that
go ahead.
Conversation with Scarlett Johansson where she's like giving the tea and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down exactly. I went back several times.
Wait, giving who the tea?
The Borden. Like when she wants to work for Borden.
Yeah, trying to. Yeah.
He says, he takes no pressure. Okay. He takes no pleasure in our success. There is no future with him. He thinks of no one else. And I'm like, you should have been a counselor or a psychiatrist.
Right?
You really just nailed it. And this will play him
deep into his psyche
for the rest of his life.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
She calls it out.
Like there's a scene where Cutter's like, we were called the best performers in London. And that doesn't satisfy him. You know what I mean? Like, you not just best
magician. Like, not just magicians, performers, all...
Yeah.
Like, total. And that's something big. Music, comedians, everything.
Yeah,
like,
and he just throws it away immediately. It's like, that's not good enough for him. It's like, where was the line? Where was when he made it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, is it so important that you have to know his trick? Like, you just feel outdone by him? Like, see, look at where you're at. Smell the roses. You got it good. You had Scarlett Jo and you fucked that up, dog. So, yeah, no. Excellent points. It goes to Borden finds Danton's double. I'm guessing with the help from Olivia.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm clearly, we do find that out later with the help from Olivia.
In zero perception. Like, even Cutter's like, you think it was her? And he's like, it takes him years.
Oh, yeah. He's like, no. Oh, he does say that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
And again,
he's
Cutter,
so blind by...
A blind fool.
He's a fool. Just, again... Stop and look around. Everybody stop. Hey, what's that sound? Like,
also, the mind fuck of, like, reading that diary and be like, I know you're reading.
Oh, I know. I love when they do that.
Dude, that is like some...
Because they both do it to each other.
Yeah.
Or, well, technically...
He did it first.
He did it first.
He knocked off Gordon's trick. Again.
Not Gordon. Borden.
I don't know why.
So yeah. Because
Borden knocked off his shit.
Did it first because he finds out in Colorado. But then Borden gets it at the end before he's
prison. Yeah.
Ah! He ripped that
creativity.
too.
He stole that shit. He is an uncreative hack.
What?
He's like a dude who steals samples from like the 80s and like raps over it and thinks he's the shit.
The revelation of him just being so pitiful and without shame is just appalling.
He's creatively bankrupt.
It's unreal. Oh wow. I don't even put that together yet. Like, he's still off even the journal. Damn. That's hilarious.
You think?
What a joke.
Dude, Borden would have been like a genius if he would have been like the page before, like, oh, I know it's coming. Like, if he would have known, that would have been like, oh, you bitch. I fucking did this 6 years ago, motherfucker.
Yeah, he probably did know. Just getting to the end, like, because he didn't seem too expressive. Because when Danton found out, he's like flipping to the end. He kind of suspected it in the middle, and then he flips to the end. He's like, fuck!
I love the thing.
But his emotion in his face when that happened was excellent.
And there's that like extra level of devotion with the diary where he's like, one self thought I tied the knot, and the other part thought I didn't tie the knot. Yeah. And I'm like, even in his writing, he's devoted to it. And then like another sign of devotion is when Fallon is buried in the ground, and he's saying, "Are you alive?"
Oh yeah, we're getting there. We're skipping ahead. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
He doesn't say anything. He doesn't even say anything.
Yeah.
In that life or death situation, he doesn't say anything. So like that's how devoted he is. Because somebody might hear him. He doesn't.
Yeah, it was gonna sound just like him. I never even thought of that either.
Gangsta level shit. That is some gangsta level shit.
You did. I didn't even consider that.
I have 34 pages of notes.
I love it.
We're gonna have to go back at the end. There's a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a lot to get to. He does an inception on Jerry that plants the idea in his head that like, oh, when he had a double, the double had all the power over him. And he's like, oh, he did, really? Oh, and uses that information to, start calling, want more money, want this and that, to Danton and Cutter. I guess his demands weren't met to his required details, and he fails to do his part in the act. It shows Anton dropping in when Jerry's supposed to go up to finish the act, and Jerry's sitting there like waving, dicking off, and he's like, get up there, he's like waving some more, takes a drink, and goes up there, and I love it when he goes up, and he comes out, and he's just like, oh shoot, I missed it. I just thought it was pretty funny. But they close that off, so Jerry's sitting there fucking up the act, jumps to the next performance. They don't really, account for talking to Jerry or anything like that. I guess they got through it. Jumps to the next performance, and instead of him being dropped down on the soft cushions, he lands on the floor, like straight raw floor, fucking up his leg real bad. And while he's under the stage, like, grabbing on his leg, he looks over to the platform where Jerry's supposed to be, but it's actually Borden. And Borden goes up on stage and comes out acting all like confused and, basically mocking the entire show. And Jerry's up there hanging from the rafters. And, all it is a big advertisement for the show is like, look at, mocking dude, and then just like, come to my place across the street, where the,
and really gave him a life-altering injury, what he will have for the rest of his days. Every
gimp he does, limp he does, he's gonna have to think about it. Yeah.
And then like another thing.
He gave Borden a lifelong injury with shooting off his two fingers.
Yeah, they can.
And still, Borden is one up on Danton because Borden killed his wife.
Yeah.
So
at least he did.
If we're breaking it down to those terms,
if it's like at least he did the injury first this time. Like he shot his fingers off before he got.
Well,
he did that to Anton.
If we are keeping score, it's 2-1.
Oh no, I was gonna have a punk section of this where we would go through each of the pranks they did on one another. Like that's how I kind of looked at it. But then it just got to the point where I'm like, there's too many.
We're just gonna hit it while we're going through it.
And I laughed twice during your whole little read of that because I just kept thinking of like, what an asshole. Because like he breaks his leg or whatever, like he just knew,
and like why he's all there,
and he's like, like what a fucking asshole, like
just imagine laying down there with your broken leg and just seeing your rival go up and like, oh, he's about to fuck up my. Fuck! Like everything is just. It'd be such a surreal moment. Like,
and then you hear the aftermath with your broken leg of
people laughing and cheering for all that shit while you're still on the stage. Like
what happened to Jerry? Oh, he was tied up. Really? Yeah. Like just the whole picture getting drawn. Like just terrible.
Crazy. We cut to Danton being injured backstage or somewhere, talking to Olivia. He's all in shambles because of the. I'm guessing Jerry obviously didn't work out. He's all injured. He can't perform. He's talking to Olivia, sitting there all pissed off about what's going on. Calls Olivia out for sleeping with Borden. She retorts with giving Danton Borden's diary, like, hey, yeah, I might be sleeping with him this and that, but I'm still doing a job. Here's his diary.
What we find out later is the ultimate Trojan horse.
Yeah. I like how it's perfect. Diary without the key to the cipher, he can't use the information. And then she admits that she is in love with Borden at the end of that, which is, I don't know, he doesn't seem too concerned because he's got the diary, so he's kind of flipping through it and he's just like...
And this is the point where it's like, I don't care about my wife, only his secret.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's like
that's
when
just
you've lost.
Dark.
Yeah, that's when you've lost, man. Like, you lost.
I know people say some shit coming out of their mouth sometimes that they don't mean, but that's just... He's just so devoid of anything else other than his obsession with Borden's trick and getting that secret. It's just sad. I would pity him, but he's just...
He had every opportunity to actually invest real time in coming up with his own shit.
Or like, maybe it was an accident with Borden. I don't think he intentionally tried to kill his wife by any means. What do you gain from that?
No, it was their stupid knot. It's the knot.
Yeah, so his ambition and arrogance kind of led to her downfall, but it wasn't intentional.
I just think the knot shit is just stupid.
I don't think it was intentional, but everything that Angiers or Anton has done has been intentional out of revenge.
Yeah.
And then Borden is just pretty much revenging off that revenge.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had somebody in real life, kind of like, not like to the point where we're going to be breaking each other's legs and stunts.
No, but it's like an enemy that keeps pushing you.
Yeah,
to be better. So like, fuck that guy. Like,
yeah, no, I think I would love this a little bit.
They always say like people that are mortal enemies, would make the best of friends, or
they would be best of friends. They deserve one another.
Their enemies are their best friends because that's all they got is just their hatred for each other and shit.
They would be best friends in like the senior home. Like, if they would have not, like...
It's like that skit on Key and Peele. They're just the old, Blood and the Crips, that they're laughing on the porch, still pointing the gun at each other throughout their whole life. But, like, I love that skit. So next, we're on stage with Borden performing his transported man trick. And this time, his stage has, like, the Tesla coil thing on top, looking all fancy, throwing off lightning and shit. It's not like the actual Tesla machine. He just went and got some Tesla coil thing and made it, flashed it up, I'm guessing, with...
Improved the thing he already done?
Improved it with Olivia's, help, kind of taken from what Danton has done. And Olivia's on stage with him. I think this is the first time we see her, like, actually, on stage with him, now as his assistant. Anton was at the show, and after the show begins to follow Borden, but while Anton's following Borden, Anton's being followed by Fallon. And the whole ploy was to lead Fallon into a trap and capture him so that he could blackmail Borden for the key to the cipher and the method to the transported man. Therefore...
What in the Looney Tunes fuck was this plan? Like, I'm going to have Borden, or Fallon, walk over a weak piece of wood. He's going to fall through the floor, land perfectly in the coffin. I'm going to have this 80-year-old dude nail him in the thing. perfect. Like, it's just a wild plan. It is a Looney Tunes level shit.
Silly magicians would do, you know.
It seems, it's Looney Tunes, man. They got a little Looney Tunes there. The air hole line was pretty good, too. Like,
it was.
I don't need to cut an air hole now.
I did think it was just kind of a crazy thing all around. Because I didn't expect it was all a big ploy. You know, I've seen it a few times, but I forgot about that. I was like, oh. Like, slick, but also, really? I don't know.
Also, Borden calls him out immediately. Like, go follow him. Go see what he's up to. Like, he sees him, like, right there, and he's like, go follow him. Or some shit like that. So
no, he sees him, Borden sees him over there. He's like, I feel like taking a walk tonight.
Yeah.
And because he saw Anton over there, and he's like, oh yeah, this is again to set up the fucking trap thing. So maybe they've been waiting for the night that.
What if he didn't walk on that piece of floor?
But he was like, why is he going back this alleyway if he's going this way? How do they know, you know, if he's walking one direction, that Anton was gonna like stop, look, and then take off down this alleyway a different direction, to head him off? Like they anticipated that's what he was gonna do?
Well, he was following Danton. Like Fallon was
Fallon was following Danton, but Danton was following Borden, and Borden just like going off one direction.
No,
and then
Borden fucked off somewhere else, and
Borden kept walking, and then Danton was looking like, continue to follow him, but no, he was kind of looking down this alley. He's like, oh, I feel like he was looking, I might head him off and cut him off over this way, and I guess they anticipated that move, and that's why they had the rickety fucking step, already probably, you know, sawed so he could fall through the box underneath it, and they just kind of seal the deal. So he hops over that step, and then Fallon goes to follow. And
it's a
weird.
Wild plan. It's a convoluted, wild plan. There's a lot easier ways we could have got this done, guys. Bonk him on the back of the head.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure chloroform could be bought at any, you know, apothecary or drugstore back then.
You can get like meth or something. You get some cool shit.
You get some
morphine. Knock him out with morphine. There's like all sorts of. There are other.
You can kill somebody with morphine real quick.
Well, you're gonna bury the guy alive. You can kill him with that too.
Well, you need him. Yeah, I'll bury him alive, not dead off of morphine overdose.
He's not gonna talk anyway. You know what I mean? You won't know if he's alive or dead down there when you get the cipher.
So, Fallon's in the grave. Anton gets Borden to come out to the cemetery. They're chatting. He's like, write down the cipher, and I'll give you Fallon back. Basically, it gets down to like, where is he? He's like, how fast can he dig? After he writes down the code, he tells him how fast can he dig, and he starts digging out Fallon all frantically. And then it cuts to Danton meeting up with Cutter that just got shot, so he's in the hospital, meets up with Cutter in the hospital, and he's like, I got the cipher. I got the keyword of the cipher. And I thought I'd, save this. He said, what is it? I was like, I thought I'd save it so we could check it out together. And he passes it to him. He gives it back. He's like, what's that mean? So he takes it back. All right, Danton takes it back. Reads it and it says Tesla.
But there's a great line in here. He's like, I already know how he does it. Like in that scene. Like,
it reminds him again. Like, I already know how he does it. Use the double. It's just like, no.
You, like, what is it? I wrote it down. I know how he does it. You want something more than, like, what is pedestrian? You want it, it's pedestrian, but you want it to be something more.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. So it's like, again, that's that fanboyism in him. He wants it to be something unimaginable, but it is. It is something imaginable because he puts him on that higher pedestal.
Yeah. It's unimaginable to him because he's just thinking on such different terms. Like,
basic bitch ass, non-magician terms. And then, wait, I do want to talk about the whole Tesla. Like, I think the Tesla move is brilliant. Like, I have a question.
And, like, what would make him use that? Like,
the machine. Because he buys the useless machine to jazz it up. His machine doesn't do anything. It just shoots electricity and makes it look cool. So, like, did he buy the machine with the idea of having this cipher? Like, how many steps ahead was he? Because that book is kind of like just a big joke book. Like, he knows he has the book.
And so...
The Tesla thing, like... so
because where we're at... Yeah, he hasn't actually met Tesla. He just... Oh!
Yeah.
He jazzed it up with the sparks and lights before...
Yeah. So he probably started
Danton was ever doing any sparks or flying
So, like, was that just, like, a huge red herring? Like,
that had to have been.
Yeah, I think he bought that machine. It took, like, a couple months to make, like, Anton. So he started writing the diary at the same time because the cipher for the code is Tesla. So he started journaling, bought the machine at the same time, so all that shit would line up. Sick. He had this shit planned, dude.
Well, he didn't buy the machine. I don't know. I wonder if that came from Tesla at all, because I don't think he met. I don't think Borden ever met Tesla. No, he did make a machine
for him, remember? Like, you made a machine for another wizard.
But he didn't, though.
No, he did,
because his memories, like, you let me to believe...
No, you had not the machine you wanted.
Oh,
not the machine you wanted.
Yep,
it was just a basic bitch-ass spark.
You're right, yeah. He's like, I just want a standard Tesla coil, just a little bigger and jazzier. Okay, I can do that, but... You know, he thought it was some machine that duplicated him or transported him.
Yeah, because he's thinking...
That's so great. Okay, yep. So, yeah, it gives him the keyword. It's Tesla. He's like, well... Anton's like, well, guess what? You know what that means? We're going to America. And Cutter's like, man, I can't go with you. And he's like, why not? What's going on? He's like, because his obsession is a young man's game. And,
great line.
Yeah, great line. And he's like, well, I guess I'll go do the rest on my own then. Okay, see ya.
Doesn't he say something like, I don't do this. I don't know if that's later, but like I feel like he... Like, I guess he
might have been
I don't know, I thought there might have been some little hint of like, this is stupid. I guess it's the obsession thing, the young man's.
Yeah. And then there's a scene where Borden and his wife are at dinner, and they get all into it, and he's all tripping because he almost lost Fallon, and... Fallon's there with Olivia, and Borden's with his wife, and Olivia's calling Borden Freddie, and his wife's getting all tripping out about that, and just the way he's acting is just obscene.
Yeah,
but he did do a tragic event. He had to dig out Fallon.
But again, this quasi...
Or was it Fallon?
Yeah, we don't know.
That was him that dug out... Dude, he's like, I was in a box today, and, buried alive. Maybe that was why he was tripping so hard.
But this, like, quasi-schizophrenic, them splitting the life of, like, one dude really causes a lot of problems because telling the truth, the quasi-truth of I lost something today, but not further elaborating, you'd be better off just lying at that point. You are boating yourself by giving these half-truths. Like, this quasi-schizophrenic one, because they don't remember, like, it would be such a fucking pain in the ass. You'd have to get, like, briefs on your, like, this is what happened yesterday.
Well, I do have that one scene. It's like, hey, their daughter wants to go to the zoo. If you could take her. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. Blah, blah. And she's mad. Will you convince her that you love her? And so they have little briefings.
It's so, like, I get it. Like, but why not just have why can't he just be Fallon? I get Fallon can't talk.
But they have to do stuff at different times. Like, I was wondering why that too. Why can they just separate out?
Seems nobody knows what the fuck's going on with Fallon anyway. Just be like you're deaf. Like, you can still live a life. You can still...
I feel like they could have come to something better, but then we wouldn't have the story, I guess.
Yeah. Again, there is like certain things where it's a movie. Certain movie things have to happen. But I'm just saying, I feel like the logistics... Also, sleep is another thing I had a lot of questions about. Because, like...
Yeah, whereas he was...
especially in the beginning. Like, when they're poor as fuck. Like, one of them to sleep out on the street. Because one of them gets to sleep in the bed. Maybe that's why they alternate.
These are questions that we may never get answers to.
And again, but it's fun to,
speculate.
Yeah, like how this shit actually...
I can't... I was just thinking in the beginning, one of them slept in the workshop. And then, same thing now. Or maybe this has got a little bit of fame from the transported man. He might have like a little shanty apartment somewhere.
Yeah.
Or something that they can swap out of.
Again, the beginning, I think, is the most interesting part. Is he just homeless? He's on the street somewhere.
I don't think he's homeless. I'm sure they got something arranged for him.
Maybe he went to the pub every night. That'd be cool. Like, he just goes to the bar and they switch out.
Yeah. It's like, you been out drinking all night? No, I just came back. Yeah, I don't know what you mean. So it moves to the continuation of Olivia's initial conversation with Borden, showing how she sees the skill in his work and wants to help him because he's better than Danton, and she's salty that she sent him away. And Then it goes to Danton reading the diary, and we're hearing it in Borden's voice. And he realizes that the entire diary was a trick story book for Danton to like send him to America, and just kind of like, haha, you stupid. I sent you to America. You spell like, it's not really the trick. It's not the answer. Ha 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 ha! I got you. And I do love Danton's like emotion and the thing because he's reading halfway through and he kind of understands like, wait, is he speaking to me just now? Hang on, and he goes to the end, and then he's reading the end. He's like, oh, realizes that this is all just a big fucking joke. That Borden's playing on him, and it's
a goose chase. It's a wild goose chase.
His emotion though on his face, like that, his acting is just supreme in that because you just really see just the dread and sorrow on his face.
Can you imagine getting punked like back then? Like because it's not just
that's like a long con, like a long punk. Like you have to like really plan it out. You hope that fucking mailman got there and didn't get shot up by some like Indians on the way or something, or like die of typhus on the way or something. Yeah. Well, I guess
you either like go across it with a boat, fucking take the train there, find Tesla, hang out there for months. Like in that moment too, because he like goes to Tesla's like, what the fuck? Yeah. But like, can you imagine that whole like hour and a half or 2 hours to get to Tesla's or whatever, and you're just like thinking all this time was wasted. You're
and then you got like horse and buggy most of the way up the mountain, and then get yourself up. Bullshit. just like every step would just be like a kick in the pants. Like I'm stupid.
And every step you have, like he literally, like my leg's broken because of this guy. He sent me to fucking halfway across the world because of this guy. I'm walking up this fucking mountain in the cold because of this guy. Like Borden has gotten you 4 ways.
And he's sitting there like blaming Borden. I'm like, no, blame your own dumb ass. Like,
and this is all because you couldn't fucking take the you had this. All of this happens because you couldn't just accept the answer what Cutter had in like a minute.
Yeah.
It's like wild.
Because you're really fueled by the rage of your wife's death, which I get that. But also like, bro.
I don't wanna.
So Cutter, Olivia, Tesla.
The smartest dude in the world is telling you this probably isn't a great idea, bro.
A lot of people literally just like, bro.
The mailman is like, I don't think you should be. I don't think you should follow this road.
The lady at the dry cleaner's like, hey, stop. After the revelation of the diary, Danton goes to see Tesla to call him out for never making a machine for Borden and accuse Tesla of taking his money and doing other stuff with it. Tesla assures him by demonstrating on Gollum's cat, on Allie's cat, excuse me.
Hi, precious.
Nothing, demonstrating in the machine on Allie's cat. They fire it up. The cat gets hit with a bunch of electricity. Nothing happens. Cat's fine. And then, so Danton's like, great. And storms out and leaves. All pissed off. And the cat runs out, like, kind of with him or next to him. When they get outside, the cat runs off a little ways into the trees next to him. And you can hear that cat fighting with some other cat. It sounds very similar. Cat, so you're just like, you're gonna go see what's going on over there. And he goes and finds the cat fighting with another cat that looks just like it.
You mean the cat with the hat?
A cat with many hats over there. Ha 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 ha. And then, basically realize, oh, the machine works. And they go talk to Tesla, they check it out. He's like, yeah, with some recalibration, I'll get this figured out. Give me a couple weeks. And don't forget your hat. And he's like, which one's mine? He's like, they're all your hat.
And I think that one line gives you all you need to know about later on.
Yeah, it kind of helps
the damn time
go through. And I have some questions with that. Yeah, they're all your hat. Then it goes to like Tesla getting run off by Edison's men. Oh wait, that comes a little second later, I think.
I think whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say because I had it in the notes, so I'm just gonna run with it.
I have like a, what do you call it? Like helicopter military thing where they have like the first guys go in.
Yeah.
Then they have the dudes come in like afterwards, like clean up. I got like not a lot of it. I am just Xing shit out. Like pages are just getting thrown because we already talked about it. But like, there's some other things where I'm like,
it's always good to have the notes just in case we,
Yeah, like there's some stuff I want to like talk. Like I feel like we'll do all the like.
Yeah, we're gonna do.
Yeah.
or
he's like,
different parts here.
I have like my whole fun rant. What I don't want to spoil is like, I want to do it at the end now.
Yeah, that's
like,
we have a whole segment.
I'm like, you're gonna, like, if I don't do this rant, like, it'll be
make sure you don't get that mixed up in the other pile. Put it in a special pile. Kind of a part scene where Edison gets run off by Tesla's men. Because they
burnish into the ground.
Yeah, burnish into the ground.
Fuck Thomas Edison. Just,
fuck Edison.
Edison, you're a cuck.
Fake ass scientist.
Yeah, you know what? You're like the great Danton of science, bro. Like you're just a
did he even really invent the light bulb, or he just steal?
He's an asshole. Like he electrocuted.
Yeah, and it's also he was all buddied up real good with the power companies and shit with coal and stuff.
J.P. Morgan, who's like just evil, like just like come on, man.
Elites, no fun, man.
Eating babies and shit, terrible.
Probably. Shit gets burned down, run off. But before he left, Borden's in the hotel and is talking to the dude at the front desk, and he's just like, yeah, Edison's men came up, like, cleared out Tesla, but I didn't feel the need to tell him about the box that he left for you. And he's like, what box? And they go show him this giant box. First, in your head, you're not thinking some giant wooden pyramid-looking box thing. You're just thinking like a crate or something. Uh-huh. A little cardboard box with some tape on it. I don't, that's what you're picturing all of a sudden, like, damn, this thing, that's a real-ass box. And I feel like when he goes and unpacks it, there's a whole lot more being built outside of this, what could be held in that box. Anyway.
Well, like look at any box that's shipped from Amazon, it should be like a whole shelf, and it's like a flat little thing. True. I'm
sure Edison's genius ass probably figured out how to put it on there.
Tesla's genius ass.
Tesla's. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, strike me down, Lord. Oh.
But again, Tesla, the last message he gives to this man in this life, as far as we know, is drop this shit in the ocean. Again, I made this thing, and I'm telling you,
I'm making it for you. I made it. It's not good, bro. It's not good. It's just so stupid. It goes back to Borden and his wife, and she's drinking, and they argue a bit. He talks to Fallon to get her to believe he loves her. But then it goes back to Borden with Olivia and the affair, and she suspects something strange about Fallon. But Borden reassures her that Fallon's great. Like, if you trust him, you trust me. Or you trust me, you can trust him. And so both of Borden's ladies kind of showing that both of Borden's ladies, either or, they're both feel like something's up, something's weird, they're suspecting things, something's going on.
And then during that other fight with the wife, well, it's totally, I'm confused about the dinner beforehand. Like, what causes this whole, they have that, 4-way dinner or whatever. Yeah. And, of course, Fallon's not going to talk. He's mute. So then it's like, but, was it Freddie in, as Borden at that time? Because he just was such an asshole at that dinner. So one time,
I think...
So they had to switch in between, right?
I think he was the foul... I don't know. That's what I was saying. Like, was he the one that was in the grave, or was he the one digging?
No, because we're talking about the dinner what leads to the
yelling. But that's what they're, he's all drunk and acting a fool because he had such a stressful day about getting married and blackmailed.
But it was just such a he was just so shitty.
Yeah, I feel like there just could have been a lot better way to handle that.
I think Freddie
manage your emotions a little bit.
But later on, when they're separating and one of the last scenes, they're hanging out, Fallon, and it's like, I'm sorry about Sarah. So maybe he got he was fucked up in the head. Maybe.
Well, yeah, because it was.
Maybe Fallon was the one in the hole because he didn't say anything or whatever. They dig him out, and he's like, man, I had a really shitty day as Fallon. I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna
be Borden.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Alfred. You be fucking stuck as bullshit. Fallon. And then that just caused him to just be a dickhead to Sarah. And that's why we see Fallon be really buddy-buddy with the daughter. Because it's actually Alfred. Because it's he's really Because he handles that situation too very bad too, where he says, "Secrets are my life." Not a great reprisal for when your wife thinks you're cheating.
And that's definitely that was the other one, not the actual one he was married to. So Al was married to the original lady,
Sarah,
and then
Fallon is Shaq.
Fallon or Freddie. Now, I was on it, and now my mind went to mush.
Also, they're totally fucking both each other's partners, right?
They probably are.
That kinky fucking.
That is a curiosity of mine. I don't want to delve too deep into that because it's just like, it's just a terrible situation all around. Because there's a whole lot of, emotional or...
There's some Sweet Home Alabama playing in the background somewhere.
That, or it's just... Or creepiness, or just... There's just a whole lot to unpack there. I'm going to keep that boxed up over there, and we're just going to We're going to label that, terrible things that we should just keep right here.
But still wild. Like, my life is secrets when your wife thinks you're shit. Like, just, what a shit. Like, don't say that.
And also, like, the tone and everything. Like, hey, can we just talk in a chill voice here?
I don't think I've ever yelled. Like, very rarely have I ever yelled that loudly.
And, yeah, he's not handling his ladies very well, or they're not handling the ladies very well. It goes back to Borden and his wife, and she's all drinking, and they argue, and he talks to Fallon to get her to believe that he loves her, but then he goes to Borden with Olivia. Okay, we already did all this.
But there's also another line. Do you love me today? Not today.
Yeah, and this big fight.
Dude, like, come on, man. You said that after the secret thing.
Yeah, and like, she's clearly emotional, and drinking is bad, and she just kind of needs that. Like, I don't know. I hate lying. It's terrible. Sometimes it's like,
well, dude, it's like, yeah, and like even if, and like also you do love her, even though it's not whatever. It's like that's still my brother's wife. That's my sister-in-law. If they knew, probably shacked up with a couple times.
Yeah, probably shacked up. So, like, yeah, I love you.
At least for your brother. If you can't do it for her, do it for the brother at least. Like,
or give out something instead of like, yes, I love you. You'd be like, yeah, I love you. Yeah, totally.
Like, you were shit at dinner. You did the secrets line on her. My life is secrets. And now you're like...
And how are they not organizing their time better to like, hey, you go deal with your wife, dog. Like, we gotta, you gotta go patch that up.
Nobody cares about Fallon. That's the thing. Nobody cares about Fallon. No, Fallon's not expected to be anywhere. So they could be really separated a lot more of the time.
Yeah.
Like do a Spider-Man thing and have that shit in a garbage
Take a little break while you're ahead, doing well on your show, Finish out your shows that you have planned, and then just take a little break, deal with your wife.
You go to your mistress.
Yeah.
Nobody's expecting Fallon to be anywhere. Fallon is expected nowhere.
No, because the mistress knows about Fallon and...
No, she has like an idea, but she doesn't know because she thinks it's both Borden.
But Borden would have to be present, so Fallon would have to turn into Borden and just kind of like, I left my wife and I'm with you. Or something, and then she'd be like, okay.
But no, that's why they think... That's why she thinks it's one guy. Because, like, leave your wife in bullshit at home.
Yeah.
So she thinks it's one person.
Yeah, so they couldn't split time up.
No, but...
Or they could.
Yeah.
But he'd have to have a reason not to go back home to the wife.
No,
and I'd be like, I'd leave.
No, but what I'm saying, they don't. Because, like, Fallon goes off with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I know. But, like, why...
Oh, so you're saying the cover
why wouldn't
up. The cover up.
Because
if he spends the whole week.
You start staying there all the time because they're not switching out anymore. Like, they have to have a cover story of why he's not going back home to his wife. He's like, oh yeah, I left her. Packed up bags. I'm with you now, baby.
Man, this fucking sucks. This whole situation is shit. It's not worth it, dude. I don't care.
It's terrible. And now they're like just wrecking two ladies' lives. It's just terrible.
Eskimo Bros.
Also not getting into it.
Bros.
She's terrible.
Putting their kid through trauma.
Yeah. Tons of trauma.
for this one fucking... Not like 10 acts. Like, or 10 tricks. One trick. They do
just repeated.
You think they would come up with a couple more with this gimmick? I'm like, well, there's two of them. They could do like a high-rise thing. There's all sorts of shenanigans they could have got up to.
So... Hold on from that. Anton goes to Anton assembling Tesla's machine in some rundown looking theater back in London. And he tests it out And it goes back to Borden reading Anton's diary in a cell. And that he was given earlier as a gesture of good faith. And Anton talks shit to him, saying, ha ha, to him back,
After he already did it.
After he already did it. And he said hi to him while he's locked up. Because that was all just a big ploy joke, too. And he's like, wait, if he's dead, how could he, have done this? Like, wrote this shit, and it's just, like, throwing him off, like, so he's tweaked out, like, what the fuck is happening?
This should have been the moment where he could have taken this to, like, one of the guards, or been like, that obviously...
Yeah, because, like, all the handprint and all that shit, like, if it was in his print, like, go with the other documents, call the inspector, and have him go check out, the setup. Because he's like, I saw your dead body, man. Like, you were dead. Because he ain't got no twin.
Yeah.
So he's just like, what the fuck? Because he didn't get the real machine. So he's like, what the fuck's happening? So anyway, he goes to Borden making a deal with Angier's lawyer again. That's representing Lord Caldwell. And goes to Borden and his wife. Then it jumps again to Borden and his wife fighting. Fallon takes, they're screaming real bad, yelling in the other room. The daughter's in an adjacent room, hearing all the fighting, all by herself in the dark. And Fallon comes up and takes her away so you don't hear all the shouting, further her trauma. And this is where Borden and his wife, this is where she's like, I just want you to be honest with me. Kind of hints at, like, I know who you are. Basically, Lou's like, I know who you are, isn't that? And that's what she asked him, like, do you love me? And he says, no, not today. Like, after this huge fight, this huge dramatic thing, she's already been drinking, they had a fight then, it's just all kinds of bad all the time. And so, shoots the next day.
It's like, what if, like, she asked the wrong question? Because she's like, be truthful, and he was truthful, but what if he would have been like, or if she would have been like, who's Fallon? Or some shit like
use that question.
Like, way more wisely than... You asked that like 8 times this movie, woman. Like, that's the one you're going with? That's your big...
Yeah, because this other shit's actually bothering you, so, like, let's address that.
Yeah, why don't you talk about that? You already kind of referenced it.
Yeah. And so, and again, if she's on that distress state, just be like, I do. Something,
Yeah, just anything. Like, really not helping his brother out.
Yeah, really throwing his brother under the bus on that. I'm gonna fuck this up and you can deal with it.
Even after the conversation, like, hey, bro, can you help me out?
Yeah,
right? Fucked him over, dude.
And he did not help out one bit. He literally...
Fallon's speech ability 0.
Yeah, threw fucking gas on a dumpster fire already.
You really fucked that shit up, man.
And so, it shoots the next day. And she's just walking around his lab, looking around at stuff, stroking this rope, and you're like, oh, what you gonna do with that? And then it shoots to her hanging from the ceiling. It shows dude walking in and seeing her, and next we see Cutter going to meet Danton.
Wait, we didn't talk about how he got there, though. With the awesome glass card delivery system, like, that's a dope way to send a message. Like, he finishes the pint and the little card.
Oh, yeah, they did that earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess we didn't talk about that shit. I do kind of like that little slick thing. This little tiny card that fits right there perfect.
I'm like, that shit, like, you would tell people about that. Like, dude, this guy put a card in it. Like, I didn't even know where he was at. Like, he must have been in the back or something. Like,
yeah, and so he gets that card and has the address on it underneath his drink. And that's what happened. That's what Cutter did to him earlier. When they first split, and Cutter was needing a job, so he's trying to get Danton's attention. That was way back. Anyway, but he uses the card, the address on the card to go find Danton in that rundown-ass venue place, theater-looking place. Danton wants him for his last show, the real transported man. And so, basically he accepts and goes to them trying to get a booking, and they're talking to this rich dude that sets it up. They end up getting a booking in the same venue as in the very beginning with that old dude with the voice that you're talking about. Still don't know the venue's name. You get 100 shows. Anything they want, they cancel everything
100
else.
shows, Morty. 100 shows.
Yeah. Then there's a scene where Borden is talking to Olivia, saying how he never loved his wife. And that's what, they're at some restaurant talking. They're having a conversation about, why aren't you sad? Your wife just passed and all that stuff. You don't seem affected. And he's like, I never loved my wife.
Yeah.
I've only ever loved you. She's like, what the fuck, dude? Your wife just died, like hung herself.
Again, just another lie. Just lie.
And you.
What if I died?
Yeah, I feel nothing. So like, she says that like you could be saying all this shit. You know, I only loved you, and like impassionately spoke to her like I only love you, and she's like growing in disgust as she's listening. And she's like, you could be saying this to any other girl out there, like you're so fucking cold and shit like that. No, I'm not staying with somebody like you because I'll just be the next one, you know. He gets dumped, and that shit's crazy. And then we go to Anton's big new show, and Borden's in the crowd. Lots of lightning, and Anton disappears in a flash, but Borden sees like the trapdoor kind of open and shut real quick, so he catches that, even though the big light flash is supposed to cover that, but of course he sees it, because he's a true magician. And then Anton shows up on a balcony like 50 feet away, all up high. So he gets cloned and transported?
Okay, here's my thing.
Or he just gets transported as he's cloned, and that clone is transported up there. But then the
I think they're sharing
original one dies.
I know, I think it flips. I have two ways of looking at it. I literally did the binary thing for this. I think they're okay, the question is there shared consciousness going on here?
I just think it copies everything from that person. Memories, brain, shit, consciousness,
but
everything.
He says, at one point, where he's like, at the very end, he's like, I did sacrifice. I didn't know if I'd be the one.
See,
so I think it flips.
Because maybe, yeah,
it's like a shared.
He's one of the clones or one of the replicated ones by this point because they did a bunch of shows. We don't know if we got to the full 100.
Well, it could be like a coin flip thing where it's like, if he flips it and he gets heads, and he gets to go, and then that guy gets fucking stuck eating shit and dying. But if he flips the tails, then he gets to be the one. And then...
It should always be the one that is there at the Prestige. Should be the fresh one.
No, you see, there's two ways.
Because that's the duplicated one that gets all the way up there.
See, my pitch, the way I think thematically...
Unless he saved the first clone, which he should have fucking done. He could have just pulled the Borden if he just kept his first fucking duplicate.
I thought about this. But that it would still defeat the purpose. It would be not as good because he would just be doing a basic bullshit.
It'd still be copying...
No, but he'd be exactly what he was doing before. He already had that.
That was a double, not an actual full replica.
But he thinks it's the same guy. He still would not beat Borden.
Oh, because he thinks Borden... Yeah.
It's the same dude.
It's
so
sad.
He has to do it this fucked up...
I guess. I was like, why would he have to kill each one of them?
Because he wants that last 5%. He wants to be on
and that's
that
why he takes away the body shit, because it always show he didn't...
Do it, yeah.
He didn't have... Okay, he transported himself.
Yeah. That's why they have those blind dudes with his cool effects. Cool, just a cool aesthetic, having those blind dudes.
Yeah, the blind... I thought that was very interesting. Very
awesome.
Cool.
But no, I think... Thematically, I like to think it's a fresh guy because he's literally killing himself. He is literally given everything to just be a shitty magician. Not even be a magician, to sell everything out. And then, for him to literally kill himself, he's already killed his life in every other way.
Yeah, he's sabotaged everything.
Even Cutter doesn't like the dude.
Yeah.
Cutter's what gets him shot.
Yeah, that's what gets him shot. Which I was I never really caught that the first time I was watching it through because I actually sat down and watched it, I'm like, oh shit!
Yeah. So it's he literally.
Well, he has a very good reason why, because he,
Yeah, because he framed this dude for murder.
Yeah, he gets him caught up. He's like, I didn't want you involved in this, but any involvement in it, whether knew or not, was still setting him up. Borden, when he had nothing. Borden may have made a mistake way back when. Nobody knew.
Yeah.
And I guess apparently Cutter's kind of got over it because remember at the funeral, Cutter's like, "What are you doing here, Borden?"
Oh,
so he was kind of he's on Anton's defense at first, and now he's like...
Well, he helped him put him in the crate. The casket.
Yeah!
So he was really, fuck that dude for a while there. And
it was, yeah.
Because he, screwed him out of the show.
But then he was trying to tell him, stop with, all your obsessiveness over Borden and his tricks and everything like that. Stop.
You either die the hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Exactly.
From another Nolan
movie, Cutter saw Anton being the villain, way ahead.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Anton ever really realized how, deep he dug himself. How bad, the situation he basically created for himself.
Yeah. Again, he's some real insight.
When he could have done all that effort to doing something great on his own, maybe, for once. And he had all the financial backing to do it. Go to fucking Tibet and talk to some monk somewhere and do some, like, levitation shit or something. Go find something new.
Yeah. But again, he doesn't do that. Everything he does in his movie is pretty much just a knockoff of whatever.
That's just, like, an exercise of a weak mind. Even though he had all that brilliance, he's still just a weak-minded little child. Like, just that has jealousy issues and fucking way too much, like, single-mindedness.
And too much of a fanboy of somebody in your own field. You can't do it.
It's sad. Sad. So goes to Borden, wigging out on Fallon, yelling at him like, why can't you figure this out? Because, Fallon's supposed to be Borden's engineer guy.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be able to figure it out, this trick, and they can't figure it out. Like, how the fuck does he do that shit? And like, how can you not figure it out? Now, Anton's show is just far more impressive than Borden. Like, the next scene, they're kind of arguing. Like, he just, instead of being all raging, he kind of just sits down defeated. He's like, all right, no, his shit's better. I have no idea how he does that. Fuck it. We're done. Let's just not do, like, stop following him. We'll stop bothering with him. Let's just call it quits. We're done. You're not going to go search it out, what the trick is behind the thing. I'm not going to. I'm just going to call it quits. Well, that don't happen.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah. One of them.
I think it's Fallon.
Goes and
I think it's 99% chance.
Goes to the next performance, and during the performance, the crowd goes and inspects the equipment.
Also, I like to think that's the one time he actually wanted him on stage. Like, there's all those other times, and I'm like, yeah.
Because he's gone, like, a couple of times, I'm pretty sure. Like, we saw it once, he's gone to see it, and he didn't go up on stage when everybody could go check it out the first time. And this time, he's up there checking it out.
Yeah.
Like,
but so he's, like, snuck in there twice, though, but I like to think this is the one time where he's like, yeah, come up here. Yeah, check it out. What are you going to do?
Well, he just stands there all silent, but he's just waiting for the time that he does go down there. And so that's why he just keep doing it. It's like 1 in 100, he's going to actually go up there and check it out. I anticipate him sneaking behind stage and trying to figure out what the trick is.
But I do have a theory with the whole shared consciousness is that this was supposed to just be an original show. And maybe he didn't know Gordon was there. But when he was drowning, the shared consciousness saw that he was there. Instead of walking out, he just went back. He's like, oh shit, he's back there and he sees me getting drowned. He's going to get pinned for it.
I feel like that trauma of like, because the shared consciousness is like, dude, are y'all panicking and trying to like get out and freak out? Like, just.
No, that's why I think it's a mind fight. I think that's why there's only one. There can only be one. It's a Highlander situation, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. But it's just, I don't know, I feel like he would have composed himself a little different in the water, knowing that that's what's to happen.
I don't
or
think
he was putting on a show for Borden, like, oh, I'm freaking out, I'm dying, I shouldn't be locked in here. So Borden believes that it was actually him in the fucking water, like he was dying.
I think, he's dying, though.
Oh, yeah, but not him totally. Part of him still living.
I think
or
that
like
part of him is
them,
dying. Like, I think drowning.
Well, one of them does die, but the other one's totally duplicated.
Yeah, but
he just wouldn't know any different, because he'd not be living that life.
That one knows different, because he's the one drowning.
Then we're getting, like, soul territory. It's like, the consciousness stays, but is it the same person? Or is it like...
We got a Theseus thing going on here. We're not fucking...
Yeah, that's going to be a long tangent that we don't have time for.
But, no, like, him drowning, though, that's like... The whole shared consciousness thing, though, like, he sends that little beam, like, hey, he's here.
I don't think it's shared consciousness is... I think it's... He knew going into the water, maybe that Borden was there, could smell his cologne, could hear his footfalls or something like that. Oh, that's Borden. Or something,
Yeah.
And then, or heard somebody shuffling backstage, like, oh, I hear everybody walking chill, and all of a sudden I hear step off to the side, and you hear the little confrontation, like, I'm part of the act, you fool. Like, maybe you heard that just a little bit, like, okay, now he's going down. And so I gotta make sure I put on the show when I get in the tank to, like, really sell it that it's me and I shouldn't have been in here. And so, yeah, he's down there. Borden gets behind stage. Underneath, he sees this big tank of water. The show's going off up top, all the lights flashing. Anton drops down. The lid seals on top. I'm not sure how, but it does. And
it has that trick lock.
And it has an actual lock on it. Warren's seeing, he's like, fuck, like trying to get him out. And so he starts busting it down with some pipe or wrench or something like that. Pipe wrench, maybe? And can't break it open before Anton drowns in there. Or Anton clone, whatever. One of them. I forget who catches Borden, but it's just Borden gets caught while he's under the stage and gets accused and found guilty in court that we've been seeing since the beginning, scene of him in court. And we found guilty in court and is sentenced to death by hanging. So that's why he's been in prison that whole time, blah, blah. Throughout the whole movie. Like, why is he in prison? Why keep jumping around? Oh, it's because he witnessed Anton drowning, but they think that he did it, put that tank under there to catch him and drown him. So I got him thrown in prison, which is all just a big sick ploy. Jumps to Cutter, being responsible for getting rid of Anton's show stuff, because the show's over. He's like, hey, what about this box? Like, this item right here, you know, I was hoping maybe I could purchase it. And he's like, nope, Lord Caldwell especially wanted that. And you can't have it. He's like, well, I really would like it. He's like, you know what? Matter of fact, the dude, I could set it up to where you could run into Lord Caldwell while you're dropping it off to him, and maybe you talk to him then about purchasing it. He's like, cool.
What a fuck up, either on this dude's part of, like, Caldwell probably was like, don't let that motherfucker near me. He's like the one dude with
I think it's all big plays, like, when he talks to him, he's probably going to ask about getting that, and just send him my way.
No, because he's like shocked. He's like, shit. Like, because it's like the maid lets him in too. Like, it's a
you right. Yeah, you right.
He's like,
yep, you right.
And it's like, he should have, like, you should, like, dude, come on, man. He should have been like, businessman, don't let that guy anywhere near me.
Yeah.
And then the maid should have been told too, like, he's not here right now.
Why was he gonna, he was working for Anton.
Yeah.
That's why he's responsible for getting rid of the shit, because Anton's supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
And Cutter goes and sees Anton's dead body and, shit, like, that's him. And so, he's supposed to get rid of the shit, but Lord Caldwell wanted it. Purchased all. So he's like, who's this guy? All that shit. We get back to the prison, and Borden gets a visit from Lord Caldwell and his daughter. And we finally see that Caldwell is actually Angier's or Anton, and Borden is all confused. Like, how's this possible? Since he watched him die, and so, everything like that. He's like, I watched you die. Being unaware of Tesla's device at this time, it duplicated him. It wasn't just flashy lights like his. And Borden promises, it shows like Borden leaning down, promising his daughter that she will see him again. Or I'll take you home.
And it's really sad. It's really sad because he's doing the ball thing, and it's like it's not hitting. It's just really depressing. And like even like Caldwell's talking shit, like, come on, man, like just pack it up.
It was bad.
And then also, like, that scene was kind of like a magic trick. And this movie is, like, ruined. Everything can be a magic trick in this movie, as far as I'm concerned. It's like magic trick.
Well, the whole thing's set up as a magic trick. Like, he puts stuff out there in plain sight for you to see. It doesn't all come together until the Prestige happens. You're like, oh, it all falls into fucking place. There's a few other movies like that. And those are usually my favorites. Just like, oh, all this, like, what's going on here? All comes together and makes sense. And you're just like, just confounded and mind blown.
Yeah, it's like seeing a painting and like seeing it all at once. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, he's sitting there looking at different pixels, and all of a sudden he steps back and see, the actual image.
But this is like Caldwell. But that scene, because he sees the daughter first.
Mm-hmm.
Then
it pans up.
Yeah, it's like, and there's even a fun shot like right before that. If you're really keen eye, you can see the cane. So you can kind of.
Oh, I didn't think of that. But like some aristocrat, fucking Lord Caldwell probably had, would have a cane.
Still,
but like, kind of, you don't know that until he gets up close. But then it's like,
And then the hubris of this scene. This is where he fucks up even more. Like that.
Way bad.
Because he reveals himself to still be alive. So that's still at play. And his brother, Fallon, he could still let Fallon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the only way he knows about it. And then 2, the trick, he finally had the secret to the trick would have been like, I have a brother.
Yeah,
and he
rips it up and arrogance.
Like, I don't need it anymore.
Sheer fucking
his death.
Arrogance and hubris, yes.
Exactly caused by him ripping up that piece of paper. Because I would have told him.
It would have.
There's a line with Allie and, what do you call it? Danton, where it's like, where he's going to show him the light bulb thing. He's like, well, nobody will take a magician's word. Nobody will believe a magician.
Yeah.
And I thought about how that's kind of flipped on
Yeah.
Well, because he's like trying to tell him, he's like, nobody believes him.
True.
So I thought that was kind of fun.
Very true. Very fun. So, yeah. He winds up getting hung. I don't know if it's... which one it is. It's not the baby daddy. It'd be like the Fallon one. Got killed.
He says, I'm sorry, Sarah. So we I'm sorry about Sarah. He says. Well,
I fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll try to make her happy. I couldn't. So he was like not Sarah's
he's Freddie.
husband. Yeah. So he's the other brother. It jumps back to Cutter.
Wait. Did you say he got hung?
Yeah.
No, you forgot about, are you watching closely? I'm like, that's such a cool fucking line.
Yeah, he's like, are you watching closely? Right before he gets hung. To that guard, and the guard's all terrified. And then he's like, do you have any last words? While he's getting all strapped up. And he says, abracadabra. Or gets most of it out before he gets hung.
Abracadabra did not hit as hard as, are you watching me?
I know. Like, that's not even... Because it doesn't really play later, I felt like. Are you watching closely? Like, he doesn't return back then. Right after they unstrap him from the news.
I just like him psyching out this guard one last time. Like, that's like what he decides to do.
He's just like, what is he gonna do? What you about to do? What do you mean? Don't pull that shit on me. Then we jump back, and Cutter's walking into Lord Caldwell's house and realizes that it's Borden. Realizing that, he further realizes that he helped falsely lock up Borden and then, help kill him. And he ain't happy about that. So then it goes to... Cutter basically reveals Danton's rundown venue to what we think is Fallon, but we learn is actually Borden's twin. They pass by, but that whole betrayal of using Cutter to set up Borden pisses Cutter off to reveal it to the other twin where Fallon is, so he can go get revenge, which is slick as fuck. I love it. I forgot what he says something as he's walking out, and then Fallon's walking in, or they don't say anything. They just cross paths. I think there's a head. Yeah, there's a little something I know.
There's no way he didn't know.
And the last words he said, Cutter says while he's leaving Danton in the venue, he says something basically. What's that quote?
It's about drowning.
Oh yeah, he's like, remember what I told you about drowning?
Maybe I need to shove it here because
in the beginning when they're at the funeral, he's talking to Anton. He's like, I knew a guy that drowned once, and after 5 minutes. He came back, he got aired and came back to life. And he said, you know what it was like? Or he asked him what it was like. And he's like, it was like, what did he say?
It was like agony.
No. He said it was like going home. It was like going home. And then this time, after he knows and everything is setting him up, he just walks away and he's like, letting him out. He's like, remember what I told you about that dude drowning? And he said it was like going home? I lied. He said it was pure agony or something like that. It was just agony. And then walks away. Which is basically...
No, I got a whole page on this whole drowning situation, alright? I got some words to say about it.
Do you want to save it, or want to do now, or save it for
right here. It's perfect for what we
let's go, then.
Old Sailor said it was like going home. I got 3 points on this. First, what a weird funeral story about a woman who drowned. To bring up another thing about somebody drowning,
yeah,
that's a weird call. If
we're just kind of supposed to ease him, just going home, she's going to a better place.
It's not like he's even a family member, man. What if one of your friends comes to your funeral and you die in a car accident? Cars make a loving sound before they bang really hard. It's just a weird ploy, dude. It's like. I can't say
cars, they usually take you home, but not always.
No, it's like something like that. It's just a very weird call to do at a funeral and it's not like and he's not like a relative or anything. That's a weird.
Well, it's kind of a mentor, very involved. They spend a lot of time working together.
Should he be talking and also doing a weirdo?
It's part of the team, man.
It's related to the dead. That's just weird.
He's the old guy. Hey, I'm gonna help these young bucks through this.
I think it was a weird call. I wonder what her parents thought of that. Why is he talking about drowning at? I don't. Well,
they're standing back a little bit.
Number 2, Danton believes. What do you call it? Oh yeah, so Danton believes him. For that whole time, but then he goes to commit suicide. I assume suicide by drowning himself. So, dude, you gotta know Like, again, his perception's zero because he tried drowning himself.
Right?
So why would you believe it? You're like, man, that fucking
he should have had a realization like, man, he told me it was like going home. That was not like going home.
Yeah.
That was the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he should know firsthand.
He
Like,
should have came to the realization and pulled that on him at the end. He's like, I already know. I just drowned earlier, or, so it just last night drowned. And, or a few days ago, last drown,
And this line falls flat for me in the very end. Because it's like, you didn't even believe that bullshit story. You just told this drowning story, but you didn't even believe.
Yeah, you made the fuck up.
Yeah.
So what, you're just sitting there during the funeral, I'm like, man, I gotta say something to help this guy. I'll tell him this bullshit story.
About the way his wife died, which is totally fabricated and just nothing. It's just
she
weird.
looked a lot more alarmed in the glass than going home. Usually going home, you're like, going home, except,
It's like one of the worst ways to go.
She's very alarmed and not, drowning's I've heard it's one of the worst ways to go. Burning, drowning, weird how fire, water.
This is my stance on death, and it will always be. If you die quickly, not a bad death. Like, you get guillotined, not a bad death. If you get drowned because it takes a long time, or drowned, like, that's like one of the worst ways because it just takes a long time. You know
it takes a minute. I almost drowned once, and it was horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, this Cutter story, fucking weird. This whole thing is weird, dude. What a weird...
Yeah, that's just...
I feel like you almost throw hands with the guy.
It's just a strange play, bro. Strange play. I get to set up this whole like fuck you at the end, but like he didn't know that was gonna happen, so he just gave him this fudge story.
It weakens the original story. It weakens.
And it doesn't even is it a consoling story? Do you feel?
I don't feel better.
Relief? I would feel better.
If somebody dies in a what do you call it? A non, it's like a natural
way,
death, a natural death.
Yeah.
You should not be. That should be nowhere near.
You know what you're talking about? It'd be like, man.
Planes usually take us to destinations. Her destination was the ground. Like, what is this? Like, it's a
planes. They'll take you home, but sometimes they just fall out of the sky. Like,
statistically, it's very unlikely. Like, why are we getting dude? It's like the Walter White thing at when he causes that plane crash or whatever, and he goes to the gymnasium with all those students.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
And he's just like, plane crashes aren't that bad. It just literally.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, that's what he did at this funeral. He was that dude. I was like, this is weird, man. It's not as terrible.
It's like you should actually consider yourself lucky. It's like hitting the lottery. This is kind of a rare thing. And yeah, you should find yourself lucky.
This is not the take.
She went home, peaceful, drowning in agony, but peaceful. Yeah, I don't get it. And you see the terror in her eyes while she's drowning in the box. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. I feel like you should have said something like that. I'm like, look at him all stern, like, really?
Again,
he just like says, oh, I accept that. Okay.
Like the hate should have went from bored and walking away to what the fuck was that?
Yeah, wait, what? Yeah. But he's just, again, all overly consumed with... He's like, yeah, I got bored and I got him now.
He's already over his wife. He's like, I got to deal with that now.
And Fallon, and so... Yeah, Cutter walks away and Fallon walks up and just... What's he say? There's something that said... There's an exchange of words. God damn it. I forgot what it said. And then, all of a sudden, bam! Fallon, what he thinks Fallon, drops him. And then he starts taking off. He's like, and the big reveal to Danton, he's like, wait, you just got hung and dead in prison? He's like, twin. And he's like, yeah, twin.
You went halfway across the world and spent a fortune.
He's like, you've been working so hard to get my trick, but it's just like, if you would have stopped thinking, like, you went halfway across the world. Spent a fortune to try to get my trick. I just had a twin do the whole time. He's like, so, which one of you came out of the box? He's like, we took turns. And it's just, he doesn't really react, or Danton doesn't really act to it, but he does have like a shudder and a blink, like, fuck, because, for him that was a big issue. Like, he wants to be the one coming out of the box of the Prestige. It's like, so it was you? And his stage, who came out, was like, no, we took turns. It's just fucking, just another slap in the face as he died. Like, damn, like they split it up and they didn't give just
It was simple and easy.
Yeah,
it was simple, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great quote usage there, and I love that. There's something else. He's like, we live this double life. Try to make it work. We were living one half of one life. Two halves of one life. It was good enough for us, but not enough for them. Talking about the ladies. Then he's just like telling them, you'll never be a real magician. You're just always up to try to take and steal and be shady about it. It's like, yeah, that may be. Basically, it's like, that may be, but you know why we did it? It's like, you don't even know why.
That did not hit. That did not hit for me. I'm like,
It kind of did. And he was just like, it's for the reaction in the audience. If you could take away, show them a little glimpse of something that's beyond ordinary, then it just gives them a little hope. Like, if you could trick them for a moment, then there's like hope that there's something more than beyond the mundane, I guess. I'm paraphrasing horribly there, but
I feel like this whole line's purpose is just like some dweeb or nerd out there could be like, Danton won. Like, just so, like, because it's his final
last word.
Hail Mary, So, like, some guy's gonna be like, he won because of that quote.
Yeah, just like, get that last word in, you get the last stinger in, but not really. Because he had one little half-ass poke at the end when Boyd's been dropping bombs on that motherfucker. Turned him straight to Baghdad, straight up. Like,
with like a switchblade, bro. Like
just dropping some angry guy. Like,
get your ass with like a cardboard box and a switchblade. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
With the explosive power of Hiroshima, like, just going off.
He hijacked your show, he broke your leg, he sent you the call.
Killed your wife, killed you.
He took your girlfriend.
And put you through years of torture. Had you spend a bunch of different monies and shit while his daughter was being well taken care of and educated. And you're, in your estate.
Killed you. And I
ended your ass at the cherry on top. You dead. And I'm walking home with my daughter.
This shit ain't chess, it's chess. Oh, wait, this shit ain't
checkers, it's chess, motherfucker. You're sitting there playing tic-tac-toe on the ground, Yeah, he was definitely...
Magician, my ass.
Fucking Anton playing tic-tac-toe. Borden out here playing...
5D chess.
Yeah, 5D chess, straight up. Greatness. And then, it goes after it kills Anton, it goes to him picking up his daughter from Cutter, who, it goes back to the original scene, the opening scene of the movie. It's at the same shot as when Cutter's talking to his daughter, playing in the 3 acts of a magician show. And then it shows Borden walking up right as they're finishing, picks her up, and they go off happily ever after.
But then there's the summation of Danton's character. And if they cut to him at the last frame...
Yeah, if that water's...
You don't want to work it out. You want to be fooled. And that's his whole character. That is his whole...
Yeah, it is. Yeah. He acted like you want to work it out. No, because he had it worked out.
He's a fan.
Fucking Cutter told him. And he still didn't want to fucking believe that. Yep. Yeah. So, all right, well, I think that's a wrap. So, what'd you think?
I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's honestly one of the best movies I've ever watched.
Oh, by far. Like, rewatching it now, when I say my top 10 list or top 20 list or something like that, this one might not have made the list just because it's kind of a hidden gem.
Yeah.
And I know of it. I've seen it a few times. But it's just... You don't hear a lot of people talking about it. When I say the Prestiege, they're like, what?
Yeah.
And I think it's quite great. And really does the most you can do with storytelling, I think. And setting up just a great film of entertainment and just wonder and keeps you on your toes. And there's drama. It hits everything on the head.
I think this story is one... What isn't good because of the story it's telling. I think it's good or amazing because of this how it tells the story.
Yeah, and
it adds so much to it where you're getting sprinkles of different things throughout, but putting it all together.
At that summation, the Prestige.
Yeah.
I just love how they did it, And they did it like it was a magician's act. They put a lot of this stuff out in front of your face, but you're not seeing it the first time around because you're supposed to be looking That's something else.
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly what magicians do. Don't pay attention to what this, like, look at this hand so you don't see what this hand's doing. And they did it very well for being on film, too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of after you watch it the first time, you know now. But then even, I pick it up again, I'm still loving it. Now you can sit here and watch and see all the little things, pieces going together. And it's just, I think it's still a great joy. Second, third, fourth time watching.
Oh, yeah, no. Again, like, I didn't
Especially
notice,
if you take a break for it for a while, haven't picked it up in a couple of years, pick it up, watch it. It's good.
Like, I didn't notice the funeral or him being quiet when he's buried until, like, the third time.
I didn't even pick that up any time. Like, I love that point. Man, I didn't even consider he was doing it not because that's what Fallon does. He's just a quiet guy. It's because he can't be talking because people know it's boring.
Risk it, even on life or death.
So
like,
brilliant. Like, that's hardcore. And that's the commitment he was talking about. Like, actual commitment, like sacrificing your entire life and everything in it for the act, for the trick. That's a true magician. And he took it to the most extreme. It came out on top. Because Anton was just a poser the whole time.
To me, they're like philosophically different in that way, where like one of them is about the elation and obsession, and the other one is about the craft and devotion.
Passion, even too, like devotion, yeah.
Like, he cares about the craft of it. He just wants the elation of it. Which, again, I think is, like, the wrong way. Like, if you want to, like, for our podcast or whatever.
Yeah, if we're doing this for self-gratifying things.
Yeah.
Like, we only wanted to make a buck, then...
This would suck. This would suck.
We do this because we already just do this. We've been doing it for years. And we decided to start recording it.
And share it with you guys.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's like I think that's the difference, though. That's the difference. He's the poser wannabe who is just like a shell of like I
he's
am
just
a
clever enough to hang in there, but not clever enough to be anything substantial.
Yeah.
Or
he's
significant.
the poser. He's the poser. Yeah.
You can get a good show going, get people entertained,
even has the rich parents and everything.
I wish we could get the papers, that were going out talking about the rivalry in the two shows across the street, because I bet you that, we could have got some insight of the Londoners, what they thought, like, oh, Anton's show is better, but just keep stealing Borden's acts, though. Like, and, oh, Borden's coming back, and now his show's better, and Anton's fucking up, And or Danton. I said Anton. Danton's fucking up.
You can put a D in there.
Yeah, whatever.
Put a D for another word.
No, I'll just call it out, let it go. But, so, what was your theme? What are the themes of this movie? Or your theme or big takeaways from this movie?
Mine is, especially America, especially Japan, where it's like work until you're just like a brittle bone, And I read a book about, this is good, like a little professor here, guys, professory, and you can cut this out if you want. Yeah. But like Enron, the guy who's the CEO of Enron right before it went bankrupt, and it's kind of a crazy story. It's like the 8th or 7th biggest company in America at the time, and it was a huge fraud and big scandal. But this guy like sacrificed like his marriage, and he even says this in the book, like relationship with his kids to work at Enron, and then he ends up going to prison for it for 16 years, which reminded me of this story about a guy who devotes himself completely to his profession to an obsessive degree, and what does he get for it? He gets shot in the basement of a shitty place, you know what I mean? So it's like, my lesson out of this is to sacrifice everything.
Was it the basement, I think? I think it was on the stage.
No, it's down under.
Oh, okay.
Because they're like going to dispose of it or whatever.
But
like, the lesson, I think, is, like, it's not worth having professional success if you're going to sacrifice your personal relationships.
Yeah, in life. Like, the things you're doing all this stuff for. Like, a profession shouldn't be your end-all, be-all, especially when you start a family and, like, a life. The family is what it's all for, and the profession just helps provide for that. Ideally, you want to, spend as much time as you can with your family and just go do things with them, instead of being at work all day, unless you do have a true passion, which was his magician shit, but only if it was like Borden, where he's making his shit up on his own, not bothering nobody else, just doing his thing. That's totally healthy.
Family, and he's trying to go for it.
Yeah, it's not a family, you go for it. But his obsession, he just, doesn't restart, like find someone new, work on either forgiving Borden or letting go. He just continues to obsess. Again, obsession. That's one of my terms for the theme.
No, I think it is.
Obsession
100%.
is, I think, one of my key themes of this movie. And that's the biggest, his downfall, is what ruins him, is that he can't just lose that tunnel vision that he has on Borden and his tricks. All the potential he had around him, especially when he was with Scarlett Jo. I figured
men would kill other men for that. I would punt babies off of cliffs to get with Scarlett Johansson.
War.
Yeah.
Just to
you ever seen Troy? Same shit.
I'd fight a war. Yep, Troy, same shit. Just to even cook her dinner. Just let me cook your dinner. All right.
I'm the cook's brother. What's up? I'll be your waiter today.
He's like, you got a sister for him? Come on.
I'll take the beaten down one. I'll take the sister who's not famous at all. Like, just to see you, it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So obsession, I think, is my biggest theme takeaway. Commitment was another one on Borden's side. So like on Danton's side, obsession, and on Borden's commitment. A true commitment to share a life with your brother, your twin brother, and play it out to the fullest degree, even losing one brother in the process.
And your wife. And giving your kid just trauma.
Yeah, all kinds of trauma she's going to have to sort through. But still, like, Daddy, you're in prison, I don't get it. Don't worry about it, girl. We're going to move to America, nobody's going to know.
Yeah, I'd get the fuck out of London. He was like, fuck being Fallon.
Fuck out of London.
Well, Fallon would be just such a perfect escape route for him, because he could just dress up as Fallon and take a boat, and he's good to go,
Mm-hmm.
But, the last thing about the lessons or whatever, I think your life in general, you should never have one thing be, like, over 50% of, like, your mind share at all times. You know what I mean? Like, you need to have that you should never have a monopoly. Your mind shouldn't. Like, if you're so
consumed by one idea,
thing, yeah. Like, don't let a monopoly.
Gotta be open to new ideas. Different routes to your end goal. You might have one route in mind, but you should also be aware of other routes. Or things come in, you're not jeopardizing your path that you're trying to get to, your destination, but you might have to take some turns here and there. Stop, take a break sometimes. It's okay as long as you get back on the road and keep going. Your destination's always going to be there. It just might take some extra time to get there. And
life's like a garden full of various plants. And you put all the water on one plant, all the other ones will die.
Exactly. So you got to, for a luscious garden of the mind, you got to, water everything and pull the weeds. Not let the one weed fester and overtake everything else and spread and multiply through your brain. That's all you can think of. So, I love it. I like it.
Little life advice. Who knew that,
Right?
Yeah.
Something to take away. I feel like most stories, like all we're watching is stories. When we're watching movies, TV, anything like that, most stories have a moral to it or like a lesson, something that we can get from it. That's why we share stories. That's why I keep talking about it. That's why some stories keep coming up over and over through different generations and different renditions because they're important to like the human experience. Exactly. I was going to say condition. I didn't want to say that. Experience. Perfect. Got any questions, concerns about the thing?
Oh, I gotta do my 3 questions.
So, one of my questions is, why the fuck, after you got a duplicating machine, will you just duplicate a bunch of fucking gold? Get one gold bar. You'll duplicate that, and then Tesla could just buy an army. Bought America. Bought out Edison.
Yeah.
Just thought.
Yeah, no. Well, Tesla is just not about the money. Like, he's just crazy science man.
In order to do your science, sometimes you gotta pull out a big genius plot for your own, so you can, get on top. You get all this power. Send a lightning beam to Edison's lab.
1, movie. Movie has to happen. And then 2...
I just had to get that out. Yeah. If you have that potential, I just wish, that could have been a thing. Somehow.
Maybe he's just a very honorable dude. And he's not willing to completely... Because he didn't even really want to fuck with that machine. He was not about it at all.
I wonder what Tesla's goals were. I have all this shit. I have my goals I'm doing. I'm stopping to make this for you so I can get some funding because I lost all my other funding because of Edison's smear campaign. Yeah, fuck Edison. But, I wonder what his projects were that he's, for himself working on this plan. Because I've heard the conspiracy theories about it. My dad told me stories back when I was a kid about it. And, you just want to have wireless fucking energy for everyone. Totally accessible. You had a thing from atmospheric electricity, which is a huge thing. And then my other big question, concern thing is like, why did Angier's shoot his clone? That first trial attempt?
Highlander, dude.
I know. I just feel like, logically, even like, hey, bro. Like, ask us some questions first. Like, hey, you, me, we us?
I don't know, man.
We're on the same page here. We know what just happened. You know what just happened? Okay. Now let's plot and scheme, bro. Like, nice to meet you, dog. Hang on, we gotta get in a fight real quick because I've always wanted to fight myself. And then we'll get to work on what we can do.
Or at least hold the gun on the guy and, like, then question him.
Yeah, he just immediately blasts him.
Yeah.
Like,
again, my argument why you didn't keep the clone around because he would not be as good as...
Or just, hey, clone dude, go work on this shit. You know we have to do this, so you go there.
Well,
I'll take that.
He doesn't need anybody else because, like, he doesn't do any fucking research anymore. He doesn't fucking come up with his own shit. Like, what's he gonna do? Send him to go watch?
True. At that
for him?
point, you're right.
Yeah, he
this is all just for the big fucking getting bored back. And
honestly, like, when you really think about his, like, he's at his happiest not when he's like the best magician or whatever, but like when he gets when Borden's like totally fucked. And he, like, rips up the thing. Like, the most complete this man ever feels. Not when he's at the peak of his, even being a magician, when he finally... It's, like, really more of an ego... Like, fucked up, egocentric way of... Like, how he looked at this whole situation, you know what I mean? Like,
it's all ego, actually. Very much so. That should have been a theme. I should have wrote that down for a theme. I'm adding that in. Theme, ego. It's just... Pride becometh the fall. And his arrogance and pride got him fucked in the end. So, what's your favorite scene?
Ooh. It's the one, what do you call it, where it's like the best magic act I've ever seen. It's the way it's shot. And it's like he's taking off the, like, fake stuff, and he's like, well, did you hurt him? Because he was, like, all geared up to, like, fuck with him again. And I thought that's where it was, and it's kind of a good... like, fake out. He's wearing all the disguise to go to the show. So you're thinking he might go on stage and, like, fuck with... But then he's like, no, it was the greatest trick I've ever seen. And then we see...
Yeah, he's all, like, humbled almost.
Yeah, like, it just blew his fucking mind.
I do like that. That was a good one. It
broke him. Like, literally broke him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the next scene is, like, Cutter being there, checking it out, too. And being like, that shit's crazy, too. Like, he's like...
How do they do it? It's a double.
And it's crazy. It's the irony, man. Like, he figures it out in a minute as he spends the rest of his life, his days, trying to figure it out.
Cutter's like, bro, I already told him I'm sick of you doing this. All right, whatever. And dips off. Mine was when he locks up that ankle on the guard. I don't know why. That's the first thing I could think of when I asked, pose a question. I'm like, what's my favorite scene? I just really love that because he just, the way he fakes it off and it just gets him. And the dude just spazzing out and he's laughing all hard. And all the other inmates are just laughing.
That's the monkey scene I was talking about where I'm like, we are monkeys, dude. He's like, all the dudes up above are like,
Yeah, we are some hairless apes. I'll tell you what. All right, favorite quotes?
Ooh. The obsession stuff is really good. Like, don't become a slave to your obsession.
One of mine is in, like, one of the last scenes, Cutter. Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it because, of course, you're not really looking. You don't really want to work it out. You want to be fooled. And we talked about that one earlier, too. That's, like, one of my favorites. The Tesla Angier conversation, I really like that one when he's asking about the cost.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Mr. Angier, have you considered the cost of such a machine? Angier's like, price is not an option. Or, price is not an object.
Again, he's a fake-ass little bitch.
Tesla's like,
the price of other people.
Yeah, perhaps not, but have you considered the cost? He's like, I'm not sure I'll follow. And he's like, go home. Forget this thing. I can recognize an obsession. No good will come of it. And he's like, why haven't good come from your obsessions? And Tesla's like, well, at first, but I followed them too long. I'm their slave, and one day they'll choose to destroy me.
Which is, like, really poetic for how he goes out later
foreshadowing.
On. Yeah.
Basically telling him, I'm like, I've been through this, dog. I'm letting you know. But if you're gonna pay me, whatever, okay, I'll do it.
And he like tells me like, go home. Like, go home.
Yep.
Don't
Ian,
this.
it's the biggest warning you could ever get. Like,
everybody's telling this dude.
and Angier says, if you understand an obsession, then you know I won't change my mind. Seals it, that's basically sealing his fate. His mind's made up without considering other options, alternatives, anything like that. And so your question, favorite side actor? Who's your favorite?
I think David Bowie. Because he's not supposed to be here. Like, he's a music guy. Like, I was going to say Michael Caine, but I'm like, Michael Caine.
It's like David Bowie.
Tesla, dude.
I know, Tesla was just... Who's David Bowie again?
He was Tesla.
I know.
Oh, no, he's the Space Oddity. Space Oddity.
Oddity or Odyssey?
Oddity.
Oddity.
Space Oddity.
Yeah.
Dude, once you hear about
okay, that's it. All right.
It's a banger, dude.
Well, he does a great Tesla.
He's a music guy. He's like a total music dude. Like, I didn't know he even acted until this movie. I was shocked. I'm like, wait, David Bowie's in this? What?
I was watching a couple videos online about it, the movie, and they were like, David Bowie! Like, everybody's like, oh,
he's a great actor.
Everybody melts over David Bowie.
He crushed it.
I'm like, I've heard the name, I'm just,
We're gonna listen to Space Oddity. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna listen to Space Oddity and Under Pressure Required.
I'll be educated.
Yeah. You're gonna be like, oh shit, this is amazing. If you don't like Space Oddity, you're wild.
I'm sure I'll like it. I just have to hear it.
It's a great high.
And it'll come back to me. I don't really know if I have a favorite
Major Tom
side actor. Who a side actor that
tiny little role that just nailed it.
Tiny little role that just nailed it. I really did like the dude who set up the deal when Andrews came back with the real teleporting man.
Oh.
And he pitched it to that guy, and that guy went to go set it up.
Yeah.
At that venue, and he's like, cancel all the other shit, whatever. Just the hardcoreness is like, he's like, you gotta, but the way when he saw the act, he was just stunned, and he's like, we're gonna have to tone this down. Like, it's very rare, actually, I've ever encountered real magic.
But,
kind of insinuating, you've ran into some other real magic before? I don't know.
My thing with that is, that guy doesn't know magic. He's a business dude.
Yeah, but
so, like, he says it's real magic, but it isn't. Because to me, real magic is just dressing up a pig.
Well,
he's getting rid of the pig.
No, he's just getting rid of the, like...
It's taking something ordinary
and making
it extraordinary.
Was just...
There's nothing ordinary here.
He knows that's something else. Like, that wasn't just...
It's science. Like, he broke it. He's not doing...
But then when he does that demonstration, where's the body going at? Because there's no drop floor on that place.
No, there's a drop floor. There's always a drop floor.
Is there? In that rundown, shitty place?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. So it must have just dropped and he killed one of his clones right then.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Again, there's no magic happening.
But just the way that
By the definition of this movie, there is no magic happening there. That is... He's a wizard. He has jumped over magician to wizard. He's using a wizard...
Oh, no, because wizard is real magic, and that's what Tesla does. He's just some... Yeah, again, poser.
He's not doing
using some artifact, like you said earlier, that some actual wizard made, and calling himself a wizard too. Like he's pretending. He's faking.
This is real quick conspiracy talk here about Nolan movies and guys with canes in Nolan movies. But in The Dark Knight Rises, Batman loses his way and uses a lot of tech, like a wizard's tool, and like loses his way. Well, like, because Batman's all about the man behind the mask, not all the gadgets and shit, and then he gets his ass kicked by Bane. Which I think is
I could see the relation there.
There's a little relation of like both of these men have lost their way. Like he lost the way of the magic, and the Batman lost the way of being Batman. Like they lost the sauce.
But Batman wasn't copying nobody. He created Batman.
Yeah, Batman's way more talented than this hack. But like they both lost their way at some point. Though.
That's true. That's also part of like the common hero's journey. But like, if you're not a hero, you're the
villain.
The villain, and
I thought of that like on the rewatch of this weird relation between The Dark Knight Rises.
Get down.
What do you call it? Dark Knight Rises and this movie. It was fun music, both Nolan.
Yeah.
Dudes with canes. Little.
We should have checked who the producer was. Like, did he produce this? Like, who the writers are? The writers are on the list.
I think it's Jonathan and Christopher Nolan. I think they both.
Oh, nice. That's something we got to add to the list in the beginning. Writers and shit, so we kind of eventually start seeing names repeat and stuff like, oh, we like this guy,
Yeah, he's good shit.
So
wait, most valuable actor. Who was the best actor in the whole movie? I think it's Hugh Jackman.
I think it's Hugh Jackman for sure.
Yeah.
Because he just plays it to where you actually feel just icked out by his person, like, who he is. Like, his character he just portrays it so well. By far, 10 out of 10. Great job, Hugh Jackman. All right. Yep, I agree on that one.
So what are the scores with other...
Hang on. Criticisms? Any criticisms?
I think the Alfred drowning... Oh, sorry. Not Alfred. But, my Cutter's funeral story.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. I think it doesn't hit at the end. Not good. Yeah,
you're right.
I think... What do you call it? Cutter's little story to... Or not Cutter. No, what is it? Fuck me. The little line Danton does at the very end with, like, you didn't understand.
Oh, you didn't.
It didn't vibe with me. Like, I think literally it's for those nerds who want to say he won somehow with that little jab. Like, there's gonna be that one dude who writes in, and he's gonna be like, actually, I thought that was really epic and the shit. And there's, like, one other thing, but I'm trying to remember. What do you got? What do you got for?
I'm trying to think of I was trying to think of them earlier. Overall, it's a fantastic film.
Like these are nitpicks.
Yeah, and like nitpicking anything. In some scenes, I feel Borden are played by what's his name? What?
Christian Bale.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel Christian Bale's performance a little dry and flat in a couple scenes, just here and there.
I didn't feel like the Hugh Jackman energy radiating off of him. Like, he did a good job, but it wasn't like his best job. I've seen him do better in other films.
I just feel like in some scenes he just kind of has but it could be like that's the foul. Or it's just this is very small little nitpicks that could be explained away though.
Yeah. But it's not like I'm not gonna remember Fallon from this. I'm gonna remember Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman was probably the biggest. Hugh Jackman and Scarlett Jo, and then also Cutter. I really love his performance too. Just because everything he does is just great.
Michael Caine.
I don't think I've seen anything that he's done that I was like, man, I don't like it.
I think we were talking about who's gonna win the most side actor awards, and I think Michael Caine's just gonna.
Oh, we'll see how many times he pops up.
Yeah.
So okay, now ratings. IMDb gave it an 8.5, and Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 77%. What'd you give it?
I think we give it like a 90.
Because we're doing on a scale from
0 to 200.
0 to 200?
No, well, we add our scores.
Okay, but
so you do it out of 100.
Yeah, so we're doing kind of like the Rotten Tomatoes way, where it's like the percentage or whatever. Just So I gave it a 90.
Oh, so it's certain epicness. It gets the seal of epicness from us.
It's pretty epic. And what'd you give it officially, you said?
I gave it a 90.
So we both got 90.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid one. It could be 100. And it's just kind of personal opinions that drag it down. Like, I know it's stupid. It has nothing to do with the overall film at all, but I just dropped it down. It's like, Borden's a dick. And I didn't like it when he's, always yelling at his wife. And just in front of the daughter and things like that. It kind of just killed the...
Oh, the knot thing. That's another knock again.
What?
The knot. That whole
and the knot thing. Like, he killed her. And like, he's basically, he gets away with it. There's no repercussion. And, to set a Danton off to go on this, vengeance and obsession streak. It's just...
It's a weak
that
way
wasn't
to
addressed
get
again, and we didn't nothing happened. It was like, oh, it's an accident, cool. So those are the one little things that kind of rubbed me off. But otherwise, I gave it 100. But I can give The Matrix 100, and I love The Matrix way more. But it's a great film overall. So, what are we feeling for next episode?
The Joker.
The Joker. I'm in because you hate it and I love it.
I'll see. Maybe I'll change. This movie took a dip.
We're going to have a good discussion. This is the first one that we both don't enjoy. So I think we're going to have a much different kind of episode next week for sure.
We're going to go by point and blow this shit up. Like, I blew up Keanu Reeves acting.
Let's not cram it in the last second. If your internet's off again, come up sooner.
Yeah. Well, the Joker is just going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot easier because it's a lot more linear.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gonna be, I think, a lot more enjoyable. And there's a lot of slow parts that we can, just talk over real quick. I think it's gonna be great. I'm excited. Next week. I thank everybody for listening to the second episode of the review of the Prestige. Join us next week as we review the Joker.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that dry, weird voice. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to see you next week.
See ya.
I'm not putting that in.